That's what you do when you don't have music. You got to beatbox.
Someone will figure that out and copyright it anyway.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm waiting for to happen. What's up, everybody? Welcome on, welcome out to the Jerk Manga Show. Peter Mike, what's up, man? Hey, we got 3 people in the chat. That's cool. That's cool. There's 3 people. You guys are the elite. It is 2:40 on the East Coast of the US of A. And I am going to be sketching tonight, chilling out with my man Antonio Brice
For sure.
of Blessed Brand fame. Boom! Is that cool or what?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Did I make it? Did I introduce you well? Was that a good intro?
I would like to think so. Yes, it worked for me.
There you go. Boom! I like the boom. Oh yeah. Felix Haas says, "Hi, Elliot. Booker T. Woo, Booker T, my man. Elliot and Antonio are looking real jack, baby." Peter Mike says, "What are you sketching tonight?" You know, I'm just kind of goofing around, kind of just enjoying the shizo, doing stuff. Slacker High says, "Woo," with the ghosties. That was my Scooby-Doo ghost sound. You have that? Remember that? Bebop was pretty good, said Peter Mike. Like that. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna switch my camera around to the thing. Oh, by the way, before I go into the sketching, I'm gonna show you real quick where I'm at with Doomkicker. You know what? Let me go ahead and set up brand too while we're at it. Wait, how do I do this? I'm so like cray. I should have done this first. I think of it earlier. All right, so we are going to be searching for the brand by Antonio Brice and Caanan White. Why when I type brand, you come up next to a shoe thing? That's weird.
I don't know. As long as I come up, I'm good.
All right, let's go ahead and just share screens right quick. Yeah, and application window. And bing, ging, 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 ging. Oh, that was cool. Like that. Peter Mike says, "Don't worry, a boomer is part of the game. Being a boomer." No, I wasn't boomer. I was just late to it. Alpha Proto says, "Chew." Rhino 4563 says, "Oh, Slacker High." That's exactly what I said. You get me. Channel Siskart says, "Perfect late night companion. What are you working on tonight?" I'm going to be showing you guys in a moment. This is brand. We are at $70,892, bro.
Yeah.
That was all you, fam.
I made a sale or 2 since I released the preview. So,
woo! That's nice. That's nice. That's what one young lady said or called nice tea. That says nice tea. Mark Trafford says Shatterstar is greater than Samurai Jack. I beg to differ, Mark. You better check your records. Jack will clearly take out Shatterstar. He's lame. Let's see. Sacker High says 70K. Damn. GK1 says, "Was that a burp?" LOL. Nah, man. That was me going. I know 4563 says Booker T, 5-time champion looking Jack, baby. I read that pretty well too. Mr. Lizard. Oh, what's up, Mr. Lizard? All right, check it out. This is brand. We're looking pretty good. Hey, I'm going to show you guys another thing after real quick. I'm going to show you this here. I want you to check out along with brand. And you're doing good, right? You feeling good about your campaign so far?
That's why I was like, I see Peter Mike talking about that Caanan Speak sold some copies. I'm like, you don't think I track my sales? I know where my sales bump happened. I was like, okay. I'm just saying, I know. You know, I can track my sales. Trust me.
GK1 says, "If you haven't backed brand at least 3 times, can you even call yourself a fan?" No.
I just want one backing. If you do it more than once, then God bless you. But I just need one backing.
Lord bless you. Lord bless you. Hey, I was gonna say, man, this is dope, man. I'm really proud of you, man. You did good, man. You're doing real good. That was a great move on your part to show off that preview. People are gonna be super stoked. They're gonna be jacked like Booker T. Channel Discard says, heard that Google Hangouts is ending soon. What do you guys have planned as an alternative? I'm not sure. I mean, we're working on it. There's some stuff out there. Listen, Google's not going to waste. They're not going to lose money on things like Super.
I just heard they were going to switch it to something else.
Yeah, it's switching to something else. I just don't know exactly what it is. And I'm sure by the time that comes out, they're going to let us know. We're going to be all right. I'll be all right. All right. So while we're looking at this, I also wanted to bring to everyone's attention another campaign. Wait, see. Oh wait, here we go. This one's pretty cool. I just backed it. Super reasonable. It's called. Oh gee whiz, what's it called? Feast or Famine. I'm personally excited about this particular project because the art is fantastic. I mean, it's an acquired taste, I must say, but I think if you guys give this a chance, you might dig it. It's actually an Alterna book, which is awesome because I love me some Peter Simeti. And this was originally published with him, and this is killer. I love this stuff here. Look at this. Obviously I can't play the volume on here, but I'll let you guys see the video. Oh, look at that. Space, the final frontier. This is the alternate versions of Einstein and Tesla. I think he's called Tesca instead. And in the story, and they go on a space adventure. Oh, I love this kind of art, man. You laughing at me, man?
It's just a space adventure.
Let's see. What will they discover? Dun 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 dun. Robots. Dun 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 dun.
Robots in disguise.
Aliens. Dun 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 dun. Zombies. Dun 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 dun. No, ray guns. Pew, 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 pew. That's all I had. Ice bears. Aw.
Ice bears.
Over 100. See, I couldn't even read that, man. You didn't give me a chance to do it, man. I wanted to read it with my voice.
Okay.
Y'all didn't let me do it. Look at that. That stuff looks great, man. I love the thick black lines. That's my favorite style, man. I love that stuff. Oh, man.
So you like them thick and black? Is that what you're saying?
Hey. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ha ha. Yeah. I just added a bunch of little blurbs and bleeps from my face. Hey, let's see. We got Slacker High says Antonia needs a bacchiotomy.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even know what that is.
Slacker, that just sounds dirty. Whatever that is, let's not bring that up no more because I'm almost threw up. Let's see. GK1 says, oh yeah, checking F or F2 trippy. What? Huh? What? Brahan says, I think Caanan said more on that stream than all the other times I've seen him on the streams combined. That's probably true. Long shot greater than Shatterstar. I'll give you that, but not greater than Samurai Jack. Serena Sketches says, LOL. What's up, Serena? Glad to have you here with us. Channel Discard says, how late do you stay up, man? What's your average bedtime? Like, I don't know. Whenever I stop. Peter Mike says, Elliot, show that sweet retro cover. Oh, yeah. Let me show you that cover. Yeah, this is the one I backed, actually. I was listening to well, it's down here, actually. Better. I like the t-shirt too, man. But, I'm just, I don't trust t-shirts. This is it right here. Let me see if I can enlarge. Can I enlarge this? Yeah, a little bit. See, it's not weird how if you get large enough, it starts getting things small. Anyway, this right here is the cover. Feast or Famine. It's like that eerie, not eerie, EC comic style. Gorgeous. Love it, and double love it. Oh, F or F. I get it. I didn't pay attention. It kind of reminds me of like a Boulder. Well, not quite. He's in the same family as kind of like a Ryan Otley cartoony style. It's a little angular. It's a nice look. I like this comic art a lot. Oh, GK1 gives it F or F. Feast or Famine, really, Elliot? With the unbelievable gumdrop. Oh, Serena says, behave, Antonio. Did you know that?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, so this is the print, but this is what I got. I got the book here. It's like $5 shipping, so it's like $10, man. That's, you know what? Go for it. It's 3 issues of the book, I believe. I think it's got some extra stuff in it. I'm like, yeah, heck yeah, man. I want this. I want this in my life. Look, if you want, you can get the retailer combo for $30 and get like a gajillion of them. That's only 5 of them, but I'm just saying, if you want to pretend it's like a gajillion. You can also get sketches, the mini commissions, 5x7. Do you have any commissions and stuff like that still on brand, or no? It's closed out.
Yeah, I took all that stuff off once Caanan started doing the traditional pages. It was just too much because he was already complaining about drawing the pages. So I was like,
yeah.
he likes his tablet, so he doesn't like having to actually pull out.
Yeah, I hear that. Let's see. Dynamo says this is like one of those offbeat Image books from 2005 to 2006 before Image sucked and went SJW. That's probably true. Peter Mike says, Elliot, we discovered $5. It's for the PDF version of it. No. Hold on now. If you go here, if you click on this one, the retro cover is $5, and I had to pay $5 shipping. So if that's not what it is, we need to correct that. But it says right here, look, let's click on it. It says, due to popular demand, we will be offering the retro cover as an Indiegogo exclusive variant comic. With this perk, receive a digital copy of the collected edition of Feast or Famine, plus a copy of an Indiegogo exclusive retro cover variant for issue 1. Included, digital copy and issue 1 retro cover variant. What does that sound like to you?
I don't know. It sounds like a hell of a deal, but
yeah. Hey, I took it.
I was like, yeah, it sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah, I took it, and I took it fast before he changes his mind. Jelly Goblin says, weird green and magenta coloring, not hating. No, I think it's kind of cool, man. I think it's cool. You know what it is, man? It's avant-garde. I don't know about that, but
oh Lord.
That kind of looks reminiscent of EC weird sci-fi. That's what I said. KSSSS. Serena Sketches. I've read some of it. It's really good. Oh yeah. Peter Mike says Ellie would discover. Okay, I already read that part. See, I gotta be careful when I read stuff because I read it twice sometimes. Peter Mike says I had to pledge for the actual comic. The wording is tricky. Oh, I paid $5 shipping. I'm not paying for shipping for no PDF. That's for show. Johnny in I'm assuming that's Cleveland. Maybe not. Maybe it's Clementine. I don't know. Is this Sexy Party with Jerkmonger? No, baby.
No, Sexy Party is only on my channel.
It's wherever Antonio goes. Peter Mike says, can you go check the $15 tier so we can solve this mystery? We had the same discussion in Edwin's stream. I know you did, and that's when I went and I bought it. I just bought it like 20 minutes ago. Tatooine says, I just backed this watching Edwin's channel. I love the retro cover. Me too. Peter Mike says, if I have no pledge for the second time, I'm going to laugh. What? Oh, if I have to re-pledge for the second time, I'm gonna, yeah, okay, well, you go. Serena says, I backed this one a while back. What up, boys? So make sure you guys go on here and make sure you share it. They're at $4,081. They have it's a modest goal of $5,000. You guys, please help these people out. Please bring some sort of clarity to their lives. All right, that's enough of that. And finally, this for this installment of shilling for myself here, let me refresh this. Doomkicker, a 96-page spectacular. It is still in demand. We're at $48,665. I'm super stoked about that, but I would be even more stoked. Antonio, how much more stoked would I be?
Just a itty bitty little bit more.
Just a little bit. Super soaked. Not super soaked.
Oh Lord.
Oh dang. Okay. Super stoked if I could get up to 50, guys, and that's where I'm trying to get to. That's almost a sweet spot. That's like a first level of a particular goal I had for a specific reason. I will be adding some interesting stretch goals, which will lead to perks to order, but as of right now, I'm just still trying to figure out how I'm going to go. I got some interesting information earlier. I'll probably talk to you about that next time, Antonio, maybe tomorrow when we wake up.
Oh, yeah. We can.
All right. Well, in the meantime, on the side of heaven, I'm gonna keep on loving you.
Yeah.
You like that, huh? All right.
Yeah.
So I was just goofing around a little bit ago, and this is where I'm at. I was just trying to practice here. Maybe I'll draw something even more exclusive here. Dynamo says Jerkmonger is the first perk, a purple t-shirt. It's like a combo. It's like for $25, you get a t-shirt, a button. You get Aloha, Edwin. How you doing, brother? You get the. Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about mine? I don't know. It's not mine. There's no t-shirt in mine. If you're talking about Feast or Famine, yeah, there's definitely a t-shirt in there. Man of Lunacy says, I saved the last piece of George for you. I ate the other two, but I saved the last of George for you. That sounds weird. You're a cannibal. Serena Sketch says, stupid ads, this time a chocolate one. Does it ad while I'm talking?
Yeah, like if you go out and you come back in on a live stream, if it's monetized, it'll show a commercial.
For real? So they didn't even hear what I just said.
That's about the only time they see, because they be turning all the monetization off on my interviews and stuff, and I have to appeal them and have them put it back in there.
They missed my whole song.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a replay. Loving you in the meantime. Oh,
nice tone to your voice, though.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
It's an episode of Glee all of a sudden. I was like,
all right. I'm gonna present to everyone here. All right, so I'm just kind of goofing around. I started sketching some stuff here. This is basically obviously a female. You can tell it's female because the lines are a little different. The lines and the shape of the head's a little different. The size of the neck is different. I tend to draw my guys with like big jutting necks, It's pretty fun. But I think it's important that you recognize the difference, because there is a difference between men and women, and mainly in the anatomy. And
is that true?
Yeah, there is.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, some people don't know that. I have to educate people now. Yeah, I gotta educate people. My daughter's like, Dad, it's okay. Like, no, excuse me. Logic rules in this house. Dynamo says Jerkmonger is the first purple t-shirt. I read that already, right? Oh wait, no wonder. My chats. I'm looking higher. Lafayette Acevedo. Dang, got fooled, yo. Brown Hawker says, LOL. I was like, what the heck is this? I got served an ad for butt implants. Lafayette, maybe that's what you've been enjoying lately. And I'm telling you, Google's smart, man. It knows what and then he ordered them. He said, hey, well,
made a sale. Another satisfied customer.
You got to have some butts. Peter Mike says, is that Chris Evans? No. Hell no. Oh, yuck. Can't stand Chris Evans. No, this is my character.
Chris Evans.
What?
What's wrong with Chris Evans?
I've heard him speak. That's all I need to hear. Say it with it.
It's just a symbol.
What do you say? Speak the devil. No.
Oh no, yeah. Speak of the devil, he shall appear.
Look at these. Says careful. You don't want to get flagged for hate speech. What? Hate speech or why? Forget about it. Now your business says, who will be the first to say bigoto? Just kidding. Serena Sketches, eat more chocolate and you'll get natural butt implants. Hey, I already got plenty of that. Peter Mike, Edwin Boyette, aloha Edwin. Edwin Boyette says, hey, Peter Mike. I love when I get caught up in the conversation. I'm like, now I'm just reading their discussion. Peter Mike. Okay, I'm not going to read anymore. I'm going to get the drawing. All right, you guys came here to draw for the drawing. I'm going to draw because it says chill. Well, it doesn't say anything about drawing in my title, but so this is a treat. Then I'm adding to the love. After the love was gone, what used to be right is wrong. The scrams, my friends, scrams. That's what happens when I forget the word. All right, man. So what's happening in your world today, man? You doing good?
Yeah, man. I'm just sitting here trying to make sure before I really get down to typing these pages up for Way of the Gun that I get everything kind of planned out the way I want it, and waiting on some ink pages from Mr. White so that I can proof those. And you know, just working on brand stuff, man. That's what we doing.
Yeah. Now I'm in real time now. I'm waiting for that payment to come through so I can get to rocking. So I'm getting my brain geared up for the activity of that's gonna be my job for the next at least 3-4 months. It's just drawing comics. That's interesting. I never had that much love for that. I never did it so much. It's so much time. You know what Hangouts says here? Hangouts is going away August 1st. That's interesting. So somebody in another chat said that October 1st, but
no, it's August 1st. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope they better tell us something soon, man. Otherwise, there's other ways to do it. I'll figure it out. We could always use Skype if we don't use this. And then I was talking to Arthur Brown was in one of the chats recently. He said that's something called. Wait, I think he called it. Is it Zoom or Scan?
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I hadn't heard of that one, but oh my goodness. But there are alternatives. But I think there's going to be a actual Google replacement. I think they're holding the suspense. You know, they're trying to what are we gonna do? They're making too much money streaming. You know.
Yeah, of course. As a matter of fact, speaking of making too much money, you guys are welcome to Super Chat me anytime you like. I will take your money. I have no problem with that. Let's see. Lafayette says, I came here for the ads. Serena says, keep refreshing. Then your business says, Peter Mike, you see his non-Marvel movies. One was romance. It was painfully bad. What? Oh, Evans. Oh, you got something about Christopher Evans. Or not Chris. What's his name? Chris Evans. Oh, okay. Chris. Maybe it's not Christopher. That'd be better that way.
Well, I'm sure that is what his parents named him.
It's more like Chrysanthemum.
Oh no. Chrysanthemum.
Let's see. Antonio Peter Mike says people are crazy on Twitter with Brand's preview. What?
Trust me, I've noticed. It's but for the most part, I'd say the response was very positive. So the sales reflect that, and I've got a ton of emails and DMs and stuff, and people are just DMing me to tell me how much they enjoyed it and they want to know more about the story, and, you know, which is what it's supposed to be. That's why I was trying to explain to people, you know, it was like, well, I don't want to read it. It's going to spoil everything. And I was like, no, I'm just setting everything up and introducing the characters. And then the rest of the story takes place in the second half of the book. So, and it's, you know, that's what, but yeah, man, the brand fans have been outstanding.
They've been coming out for the party. Yeah,
man. I was just I just could not I couldn't be more pleased. You know, and then like I said, you know, to hear from like Steve Englehart, you know, he emailed me because I sent him the preview and he read it, and you know, he was very positive and he wants to read the whole story. So I was like, oh man, that's great. So I just
that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Then your business says OBS is free. Then your business, I can't use OBS the way everybody else does. If you're on an Apple computer, OBS doesn't let you run the sound from other things, like and Hangout obviously would be something I would try to run through it, but alas. Let's see. Slacker High says, Ellie, can I ask you a personal question? You just did. Thank you, man. I hope you enjoyed the answer for that. Booker T, Coward or Soul Boy, both of that options are terrible for a guy that represents the face of Captain America. Yeah, Captain America disappoints me in the movies. But you know what?
Yeah. I liked him as Captain America. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
It's not Captain America. It's Chris Evans. I have issues with him, but that's okay.
Okay. I don't like some of his stuff offline. You know, well, I guess on like social media and stuff. I don't like that stuff. But I thought his performance as Captain America was fine. But yeah, when he was talking about like might have to unfriend Tom Brady because
that's what they were saying.
Yeah, that stuff that was corny, man. I was like, why are you doing that?
That's so stupid. He's so stupid.
Most people that meet Tom Brady seem to say he's a nice guy.
You know, leave Tom Brady alone. Y'all mad because he got money.
Keep winning all these championships.
Shoot, tell me.
I was like, damn, Tom keep winning all these championships, man.
He does, man. But what do you want to do, man? He's great.
He's best in that position I've ever seen. You know, I used to say that about, like, Joe Montana was my dude, and I never thought I'd see a quarterback that would replace Joe Montana. I was like, Brady's the GOAT in the quarterback position. That's just what it is. So,
well, you know, it's just interesting because there's got to be another great. You know, there can't always be just the one from that we remember when we were kids, and he seems to be that one. I just, you know, I don't watch enough sports. Maybe you can help me. Who else is competing with him for that position of greatest?
No, I just don't see it. There's the legacy. There's too many Super Bowl appearances, too many Super Bowl wins. It's just, I don't know. I'll go 50 years. It's like everybody keeps trying to say LeBron is Michael Jordan. You see what happens when LeBron gets in the finals. You see what happened when Michael Jordan gets in the finals. I hate to say that because LeBron's been to like 7, 8, you know, and he's only won 7, 8 championships. And he's won 3. So I was like, yeah. Like
I said, I don't follow enough, but I know enough about those stats to know that that's the case. And he seems to choke a lot, and everybody's always mad at him. He's traveling from city to city, don't know what's going on. What's wrong with LeBron?
That's why I was like, Jordan is always going to be Jordan. I was like, now who knows? Maybe some people saying this guy Zion Williams might be the new MJ or whatever. He was like, oh, he'll be. It's like they keep trying to find. It's like, oh, this guy's Larry Bird. Oh, this is the new Magic Johnson. I was like, I think those are once in a lifetime type players.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, but I'm finally, like I said, Joe Montana, you know, that's 30 years ago. Okay. And I've been watching Brady, and he's got to be the best I've ever seen in that position, period.
And even over Elway?
Yeah, man, Elway. First of all, let's be real.
You got everybody in the chat should know that. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, because I'm going to say, because Terrell Davis, if they didn't have Terrell Davis,
right?
Because John Elway was always seen as that choke artist. He kept getting to the Super Bowl and kept losing.
That's true. You're right.
And I think he made 3 Super Bowls and lost them, and then he got 2 with Terrell Davis. Bam. And yeah, Terrell. In matter of fact, Terrell, I'm glad they put Terrell in the Hall of Fame because he had those migraines. He had to retire, but I mean, he was clearly, his numbers. He was putting up Hall of Fame numbers, and the migraines made him retire. And that's they didn't put him in first ballot, but he definitely should have. You know, I was happy when they finally said he was getting in there. So I was like, yeah, that's. But I mean, Elway was a phenomenal player, but he was getting that reputation as a choke artist because he would get into the big dance and he couldn't make it happen. So
what about what's his name? He used to play for the Colts, then went to
Peyton?
Peyton, yeah, Manning.
Oh, Peyton's a legend. And see, I can't speak on Peyton because Peyton played for the University of Tennessee. You know, he's like Jesus in cleats around here and stuff. You know, even though he's not from here, his dad played at Ole Miss, his brother played at Ole Miss. Well, hell, both his brothers played at Ole Miss.
What's wrong with Eli? Why can't he? What's happening to him?
Age and attrition.
Really?
He's just getting older. I mean, I never thought he was Peyton though, because some people was like, oh, he'll be better than Peyton and stuff. Even when he was he was putting up some decent numbers in the SEC and Ole Miss. When he got into the NFL, they was sitting him for a while. What was it? Kurt Warner was the starter for the Giants, and he got banged up or whatever. And they finally decided, okay, let's put the kid in, see what he's got. And they just had to, they started grooming him. They built a pretty good defense, and they put some offensive weapons around him. You know, I actually didn't think when they won that first Super Bowl, I was like, that was luck that David Tyrese gets, and the dude caught the ball with his helmet. I was like, come on, man. That was, but then he went up against Brady again. And that was not luck. Some people say that was luck. That second Super Bowl win, I picked them to win that game and they won. I picked them to win the Super Bowl when they went up against the Patriots that second time, and I was like, they're gonna win that. And sure enough, I mean, it was a battle though. They were going back and forth, and but I picked them to win that. So so he got 2 Super Bowl rings. He earned them, and people were like, he's got more Super Bowl rings than his brother. And then obviously Peyton won the second one, but Peyton probably should have had like 4 rings. He definitely should have won that Saints game, because I was watching when they played against the Saints. Whew, man, I thought the Colts had that one sewn up, and then my man, they did that offside kick, and it was a wrap. I was like, I remember we were all I was at a Super Bowl party, and they did the Saints did that offside kick or the onside kick, and people dropped their drinks and stuff. It was crazy. It was a shock, but that was probably the greatest guts call I've ever seen in the Super Bowl. So I love Super Bowl though.
So I've seen people in this chat like, what are they talking about? I gotta tell you, I'll tell you why. I'm not the greatest sports fan, but I had a lot of time with sports because of my old job. I will say this though: when I was in the military, everybody in the military seemed to care about college football, as seen in the barracks. It was always like a super popular thing.
A lot of betting on college football. I know that.
Yeah. But I remember, man, I remember the day that Peyton got out of left Tennessee, that last game. Man, he was like that. They were like, oh, like it was like Captain America, man. That's what I thought. And if for a moment, it felt like he was a genuine hero, even though it was just a sports thing. But he was beloved by that community, man. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is this guy? And I was like, because I was like, I was like I wasn't a closet comic book fan, but there weren't many people that liked comics then. It was in the barracks, in my particular experience. So I immediately saw what was happening. I said, this guy's Captain America, man. He's walking off that field and they're throwing him a party. Like, oh, the people were crying. You saw that game, right?
Yeah. What I felt really bad for Peyton, and here's why. All the years, there was one year, I think his senior year at Tennessee, they actually were like #1 in the country. He could have won the championship. They could never beat Florida. They never beat Florida the whole time he was there. So he put his time in, and went to the Colts. The very next year, Tennessee wins the national championship. T. Martin's the quarterback, and I think he got drafted by the Steelers in like the 3rd or 4th round, and he played like 2 years or a year and a half, and he was out of there. So I was like, wow, that's crazy to me. I feel really bad for Peyton, because I really would have liked to see him win a national championship, but hey, that's what it is, man. That's the game is crazy, because I was like, man, Tennessee they were loaded with talent. A lot of those guys that Peyton played with all went to the pros and had good careers and stuff. And I was just like, this is not good, man. So
yeah, but I tell you, I think I told you this, that sports wrapped up for me after football in particular. Like, I still haven't seen since I was the art director in that particular situation. Rhino 4563, clearly the Yanks. What are you talking about? Get that weak sauce off my track right now. No Mets out of here. Talk about Mets. Anyway, man, I remember I got the chance to meet the art director at the NFL and different things, and I was like, oh man, this is kind of cool. And then like, man, my experience was so sour because everything was just weird over there, man. Like it was talk about corporate, but
NFL is very controlling of its licenses and stuff.
Oh yeah. And there was a lady in particular, man. She was nasty. You could almost bribe her for stuff. It was so weird. Oh, so bizarre, man. Like, are you sure this is like what's going on here? And they were so confident that was the hottest brand. I think it's still one of the hottest brands in the world. But
NFL, yeah.
I mean, it's gotten some weak spots here or there, and probably because a lot of the recent noise from stuff. But in general, though, I mean, it's still a very powerful brand. But, whew, it's just that turned me sour to the sport. I couldn't watch it anymore. I stopped.
But yeah, they're trying to change it and make it safer, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Not to mention, it's just, it's hard on those players, even if they try to play safe. Like, I don't know. I remember I watched Any Given Sunday, and I remember thinking, I could kind of see that. Like that part probably is true, that these people walk around all busted up on some kind of drugs to keep them just breathing. I was like, gee whiz. It's like, Cap Rooney. Was it Cap Rooney? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I think that was that was what Dennis Quaid played. That's one of my favorite speeches. If you guys ever want to be inspired, but it's not for the faint of heart, but if you want to be inspired, there's that speech that Al Pacino gave in that movie, Any Given Sunday, The Game of Inches. Ooh, I get goosebumps listening to that guy. Yeah, I'm gonna take over the world, baby. Take over the world.
I was like, I love Jamie Foxx and Pacino in Any Given Sunday. I love that, because that's when I started saying, I was like, man, Jamie Foxx actually might be a good actor. And it was I started being, because he had been in like some cheesy cornball movies like Booty Call. He was in a movie called Booty Call, and it was there's another movie where he got taken hostage or something, and they kept mistaking him for Mike Tyson or something. He was in all these little B-list movies. That's what he was doing. He was doing like really garbage tier movies. And then he got like Any Given Sunday, and he was shooting Ray. And, obviously won an Oscar for Ray.
Yeah, I think that was his breakout performance there.
Which one, Ray?
Ray, yeah.
Yeah, but he had already done Any Given. That's why I was saying Any Given Sunday was the one I saw, and I was like, he can actually act.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, but I think Ray was a much more intense film where he got
absolutely. But I'm just saying, if you've been watching them crap movies he has been doing, and then you see him in Any Given Sunday, and he actually shows range, and you go, wow,
yeah,
and a big director like Oliver Stone giving him that opportunity led to the Ray opportunity.
That's true.
So,
how come LL didn't make any more movies?
I don't know. LL's been in like 20 films, though. He's been in a bunch of movies and done. And I mean, he's on what's the NCIS Los Angeles now. So
is that still going on?
Yeah, still
what? Up. How long? That show must have been on for over 10 years now, right?
Let me check, because I'm gonna have to Google. I'm pretty sure that was. Let me see.
Yeah, LT was great on Any Given Sunday. That one scene was weird though. I was like, oh, can't show my children.
I don't think LT was acting though. He was just give me another shot. Why don't you give me another shot? And
take 2, take 5. Like, whoa, take it easy, LT.
Looks like it's still running. Yeah, it's been on for 10 seasons.
See? Oh
wow. So yeah.
That must be in his 60s by now.
But I'm saying he getting that syndication. But he's had a couple of shows. There was a show called what was it called? Up All Night or something like that, where LL was in there. It was on UPN. Well, it was on NBC, and it got canceled after like a season. And that's why I noticed a lot of those black shows. They were like, all right, we'll take you over to UPN. I was like, if you had a black show that got canceled, they would take you over to UPN and stuff.
Whatever happened to UPN?
It became the CW. It merged to the WB and the WB and UPN merged.
That's right.
From the CW. Because Fox had bought up a bunch of the UPN affiliates, so they were like, hey, we're gonna do our own thing with Fox. With the Fox
those of you who may not know, I call Antonio the historian and now the librarian. He knows everything.
No, I just had no life and I watched a lot of television. You think I'm working on comics?
Well, it's true. It's true.
I thought this was Venom that you were drawing. It kind of looks a little bit. It's kind of Venom, but it's not Venom.
Yeah, no, it's just Monster Face, dude. Here,
Monster. I'm gonna have to steal that name. That's gonna be the character. That's gonna be a character name and brand. Monster Face.
Monster Face, dude. It has to be dude. You have to add the dude part.
No, man.
Yeah, man. Monster Face.
I just like Monster Face. I was like,
Monster Face.
It's like I can have David and Dawn fighting Monster Face.
Yeah. That's cool. You know, just give him a regular body, like kind of like a Dick Tracy villain. You ever read Dick Tracy?
I've read. Matter of fact, there was a great collection of old Dick Tracy. I mean, they took in there used to be some library collections where they were hardbound, and they took all the old Dick Tracy newspaper clips, and they had them all all black and white art, just into a big thick hardbound edition.
Yeah, and
they were pretty rare because I guess they were sent to libraries. I don't think you could get those anymore.
Dude, I never was really into him, but as I get older, his name, I think the artist's name was Chester Gould or something like that. Man, I tell you what, man, it's impressive the amount of work that those guys did. Kelsey Shannon says, haha, I'm about to go to sleep, just popping in to say hi. What's up, Kels? My man, fans. He's gonna be Kels. We're gonna be doing that show, man. I'm excited. I talked to Art. I think he's on board. We're gonna have a little meeting soon. Talk about times. We'll see. Oh, you ready for that, Antonio?
Let's do it.
Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be all Art all the time. Not RT Bear, but well, he will be there, man. Oh, I hope so. I'm excited, man. I got a hold of a great artist, man. I want to try to work with him some more. I think he's from South Africa. His name is Mohammed Abagadi. You ever heard of him?
Abagadi.
He's on Instagram primarily, and he's excellent. He colored a bunch of X-Men that I had a print where I had all these X-Men and all the X-villains that were all like busts and squares. And I did you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna waste some time to get it, but I have it in my stash there. And he colored it, man. He did a great job. It's different. It's a unique style. It's very unique. But he has a color palette like Kelsey too. Okay, night everybody. I've been up for like 20 something hours. I thought for some reason I read 20 something burgers. I was like, what is he eating cheeseburgers right now? What's wrong with him? Later, Kelsey.
Okay, well, I was about to say, yeah, I was asking me, do you want the link? Because I was like, yeah, hop on in here, player.
Oh yeah, I would love to come on. We had a great time that night, man, talking about old comics. And so for you guys to know, where Kelsey and I and talking to Art about it, RT Bear, we're gonna do something. Antonio, we're gonna try to come up with a night where we can just chill. I don't know if it could be every week, but maybe, because I don't want to interrupt everybody's schedule. Everybody's really busy, but maybe just try to like do like something I'm calling Tales from the Long Box. And it's just an examination of old comic books and artists and talking about their process and things that we know, because we have a lot of information, and it's going to be real helpful for those of you who are interested in learning how to draw, and you want to learn how to kind of re-examine some of your favorite, or learn about who our inspirations are and why there are inspirations. I think you guys are going to appreciate that. So I'm looking forward to that if it comes to fruition, God willing. Let me see here. Try this here. I'm having issues. Someone was suggesting maybe I had too much or my ink was too thick, but I just watered it down. So I'm like, it can't be that. Some of these nibs get old. So I'm using a Crow quill right now.
Because that's what I was about to ask you. I noticed, I was like, it's giving Todd McFarlane just put up a video on his Instagram. It's like a minute. He was filming himself inking the I guess he did this a few days ago, because he's already shown the finished colors and everything on the Greg Capullo Spawn 300 cover. But he's inking it, and he was showing some of his work, his ink work on his Instagram, which I love. Yeah, Todd's the man. I just, very passionate about the comics and about Spawny. I always laugh when he calls him Spawny. He's like, "Join little Spawny."
Spawny.
I was like, dude, you're like 56 years old.
Like
calling the character Spawny.
Oh, Spawny's good.
So he actually showed a page. He was showing a couple of little things that he inked. It was only like a minute, but I was happy to see that the Violator clown, was on the page that he was inking. So I was like, oh, Violator is definitely gonna be. I mean, damn, 300 issues and Spawn still fighting Violator. But I mean, it's just like, 800 issues and Spider-Man still fighting the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
As it should be. Batman still fighting the Joker. 1,000 issues of Detective Comics. So
yeah, right.
That's the way it should be.
I'll tell you what, though, man. I was I thought that Red Goblin was pretty cool.
Yeah,
and they killed him.
It worked. It worked. It was because at first I was like, "Is this a new Goblin?" Because I got to be honest. Although I thought some of the Hobgoblin stuff that Roger Stern wrote was brilliant, I was just a big fan of the original Green Goblin. They kept bringing him back with these lame guys trying to be the Green Goblin. It's like, I'm the Green Goblin. It was like his nephew, and then finally his son. It was like 3 or 4. Then finally, can't remember the reporter that worked for the Daily Bugle. His nephew became the Green Goblin. And then he became a superhero Green Goblin. It was just, I was like, okay. And he like joined the New Warriors. And I was like, you're the Goblin. You're not supposed to be like, once you do that stuff, it just takes me out of it.
Well, I don't know. I think there's been a couple of iterations. Like I thought that guy, like I said, the Red Goblin was pretty cool. Dynamo says, will Art T-Bear tell what it's like to work on a Steamboat Willie? Work on Steamboat Willie? Maybe. He was there. I mean, he was already like 60 when he was there, so we'll see. Poor Art, man. I love Art. Okay, just looking real quick. I don't know. I gotta keep going. So I like this. I like drawing with this tool. This is fun. It's this is what a lot of inkers use. I'm not using it as well as some inkers do, but I enjoy it. Oh, come on. Am I running out of ink? You gotta keep dipping. Sometimes they get temperamental. They get used up too much, or if they call it I think it's called the spline. Maybe that's not what it's called, but it's the separation of you know what this looks like, right? It has like a slice down the middle. It's like a track for the ink to go down. And see, a lot of inkers like it because it has that nice thick and thin thing going there. Oh yeah. But anyway, it's like a weird.
That could almost, first, like I said, before you started adding the jaw and everything, I thought that could be, like I said, kind of look like Venom, but now I'm kind of getting like a Clayface vibe.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Why couldn't Clayface be a little more like sharp edged, right? That'd be kind of cool.
Well, I mean, I've noticed, especially on Batman the Animated Series, I noticed they started, at first he was a little smoother, and then they started making, especially when they updated the look of the entire series. Yeah, like the New Adventures of Batman and Robin or whatever it was. Yeah. And they had a more of a streamlined Joker with those really sharp edges, of cold eyes.
Yeah.
I noticed that when they went in on Clayface, they really sharpened his edges up too. And,
Yes, y'all. And you don't stop. I love that show, man.
Yeah. Well, I would love to talk to, Bruce Timm. That would be an honor.
I'm gonna get him. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm like, I want to talk to him too.
You know, it's like,
Would he be interesting? I don't know though. I every time I see him, I get the impression he's probably not that interested in talking to people. He seems like a busy dude. Like he's not like I gotta go. Come on, I got stuff to do. I wonder if he's a interesting guy to work with. Maybe he's too serious. I don't know. See, he's got that weird little hole in his face, in his cheek there. Looks like a belly button or something. Like you having to schedule this new podcast in between the early bird special and his 7 p.m. bedtime. Paul Dini is the best Batman writer. I love Paul Dini. What do you think about Paul Dini?
What was it? I've gotten the stuff that he did with Alex Ross. What was it? What was it? Superman. What was it?
Oh yeah, Superman.
He did Shazam, Hope, The Power of Hope. Man, I've got a big collected trade paperback with all the Batman War on Crime.
What was the Superman one? It was I have it somewhere. Superman.
It was something for peace or whatever. Let me see. I'll have to look.
Something for peace.
Because they did. He did like 6 stories with Alex Ross because at that point Alex Ross worked with Mark Waid that one time and he was like, yeah, I'm done. And
I wonder what happened there.
Well, they've both talked about it. It kind of happened after the success of Kingdom Come, which I know Alex did an interview in Wizard, and he wasn't too rude, but it was pretty clear that he felt like Mark Waid got way more credit for Kingdom Come than he should have gotten. And because according to him, when he had gotten a sweetheart deal to come over to DC, he had worked with Kurt Busiek on Marvels, which I've got that. I love that book. As I've got that in trade paperback as well, where Kurt Busiek basically breaks down 50 years at that time of Marvel history. And he was the head reporter, and he was calling them the Marvels and the whole thing. And let me see, I just looked it up. It's called Superman Peace on Earth.
Peace on Earth, yeah.
And then so they did Superman Peace on Earth, Batman War on Crime, Shazam, Power of Hope, Wonder Woman, Spirit of Truth. Then they did the JLA Secret Origins and JLA Liberty and Justice. And I've got that trade paper. I mean, it's actually, I've looked on eBay. I was looking for a while to try to get a copy of the paperback, and there was people selling that trade paperback for $100 because it was like out of print. And then I noticed they started trying to do a newer print of it, but I finally managed to snag it. So I'm not paying $100 for that, but I want it.
Yeah.
Found one for like $30. Because it's like I said, it's got like 6 thick. It was like, man, it was nice. And it's a bigger size. The edition I got is it's bigger than a normal trade paperback. So you really get to soak in that Alex Ross art. So yeah. But yeah, when Alex Ross went over to Marvel, I mean when he went over to DC, they were like, hey Alex, come over here. We'd love to work with you, blah, blah, blah. You can do what you want. He was like, well, I have this. And and this is the thing, Alex Ross, I kind of wonder about Alex because he sounds like a lot of times when I hear Ethan describe story ideas that he has, it's like he'll go to Jeff, even like when he's talking about his collaboration with Jeff Johns, and Ethan will like, hey, Jeff, I kind of like when he was describing how he came up with the emotional spectrum.
Yeah,
it's just like there's a video and Ethan was like, well, I had this idea for the emotional spectrum, because the yellow is fear and the green is willpower. And he said, I was talking to Jeff and I was like, what if we have all these different colors for different emotions like rage and, all this kind of stuff. And he said, Jeff just took a little time and then he kind of figured it out. And then he just had to design all the symbols and they came up with a story. And then next thing you know, that's going to be something that's going to affect the Green Lantern mythos for 150 years. That's something that they will, whatever you know, all the different Lantern Corps that have been spawned from that. That's stuff that you will see, you know, 100 years from now. They'll be coming up with new characters, new Orange Lanterns, new Red Lanterns, you know, Yellow Lanterns, Purple Lantern, all the different, you know, all that, you know, and I really like the way they handled it. But Alex Ross is like that, where he comes up with these great ideas, but he can't write. And just like Rob, see, the difference is he recognizes, unlike Rob Liefeld, that he can't write. Well, Rob Liefeld has, you hear Rob Liefeld describe his ideas, and he has great ideas. But then he'll be like, I want to, you know, like maybe write some of it. And I was like, you should come up with these great plots that would be great visually, and then bring in an experienced writer to help flesh your ideas out. You know, which is what they did on New Mutants X-Force with Fabian Nicieza. But you know, Alex, you know, he pitched this idea apparently of Kingdom Come. And because the guy I think the old man in that book, Nathan, I think his name, I've read Kingdom Come like 50 times, but I think that old man is named Nathan. But he's actually, if you look at the man, the model that he used was Alex Ross used his father for that.
Yep.
And yeah, so Alex Ross used his father as the model of that main character in Kingdom Come. And well, you know, they at that particular time, Mark Waid was pretty much the hottest. I'd see him on all the Wizard lists. What was it? Flash was boring, and he took Flash, and all of a sudden we're talking about the Speed Force and all this. You know, he had really good ideas that made Flash interesting again, came up with Impulse. Then, you know, they started having him write other things. He was on like all the big crossovers and everything. So DC was like, hey, your idea is really good. Let's pair you with Mark Waid, and, you know, we'll get your idea fleshed out and we can do this book. So they did it. And it's obviously, you know, story's over 25 years old. It's constantly being reprinted. It's New York Times bestseller, all, you know, multiple awards and all this. Kingdom Come is one of the greatest stories written to me in the last 50 years. I think it stands up there with like The Dark Knight and all that.
Yeah, I agree.
But when the success comes, and, you know, like I said, Mark Waid was already on that hot Wizards list all the time, right? So now he's written Kingdom Come, and it pops off. It's successful. They're like, look at Mark Waid. Everything he touches is gold. And Alice is like, dude, that was my idea. I had this story already.
Come on, Alex.
Yeah, Alex is, yeah, he's like, that was my idea. He's like, yeah, you wrote it, but my art drove the story. And I agree, his art did drive the story, but I've seen a lot of great stories with or stories with great art. It's a lot of that old Image stuff had great art, and the writing was trash, which is why I don't go back in my long boxes and pull them out and be like, oh, let me read this again. I'm always rereading like Kingdom Come and stuff. It has great art and great writing.
Although there are some artists that work out to be good writers. Like Moebius was good, and
yeah, I'm not denying that. Obviously, Frank Miller, which that's actually, I have some of Frank Miller's earliest stuff at Marvel. I actually have the issue of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, where it was a Daredevil team up. It's the first time, and that's it's one of the treasures of my collection, because even though it's not really worth that much, but it's the first time Frank Miller drew Daredevil. Obviously, you know, Daredevil is such a seminal character in Frank Miller's career. You know, no one would. They've canceled Daredevil. Hell, they moved Daredevil out to San Francisco.
Yeah,
they did so much weird stuff. It's like that period in Wonder Woman's history where they were like, okay, you lost your powers and you're like a secret agent with a jet, and she was like a kung fu master or something. It's funny when you go back and you look in the like the late 60s, early 70s Wonder Woman, and she's like they've got her in like a one piece, and she's like a kung fu master. And it was okay. And she's got the plane, and it was different. And then they were like, okay, this is stupid, and they brought her back to what it was. But I see what Alex is saying about he feels like he had the idea. Obviously, Mark contributed to it and helped him flesh the idea out. But he kind of felt like Mark got way too much credit for Kingdom Come that he shouldn't have gotten.
You know, knowing what I know now, based on stuff we know from these lawsuits and stuff, I gotta say, I'm not as confident that for me, Mark Waid comes across to me like someone. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, I took a break on this. Oh yeah, I love it. Everybody loves it. Yeah, it's mine. Like I would not be surprised about that. And I don't mean to judge him, because that's not fair. I wasn't there.
He's looking at his other bodies of work where he wasn't working with Alex Ross, and he wrote some really good stuff.
Yeah, what was some stuff that he wrote that wasn't good?
When they brought him over to Marvel, and they had him work with Scott Lobdell, and they were doing the Onslaught story. Him and Scott Lobdell did not quite get along, which Mark talked about that. And I used to read Wizard every month, and he did an interview about it because all of a sudden he was back over at DC again and doing like cross-gen and some of the other stuff, because he kind of like, obviously Scott Lobdell Fabian Nicieza, they took over the X books when Chris Claremont departed, and then they were like, hey, we're bringing in Mark Waid, and then they bring Mark Waid in, and I guess Fabian and Scott could work together. For whatever reason, Mark and Scott did not see eye to eye on certain ideas, although they just didn't seem to, because I was excited when I heard Mark Waid I was like, oh man, Onslaught, and Mark Waid's gonna, because like I said, I've been reading his Flash stuff and it was great. And so I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't horrible, but it didn't feel like a Mark Waid story. It felt like it was kind of bland compared to the other stuff that he had written that I enjoyed.
What was it that they wrote together? I don't understand. What is it? I forgot. Onslaught. Did they take turns on the issues or something?
My understanding, if I'm not mistaken, Scott was like the overall, it's like when Chris Claremont was on the X-Men books, and he was like the head X writer, and everybody's like running plots through him. Because they had they had X-Men and they had Uncanny X-Men, and I think Scott was writing Uncanny X-Men, and I think Mark was writing X-Men. So, and then they had Generation or Gen X, and then they had X-Force. They had all those in X Factor and all those different books. So, and Wolverine, I can't forget about Wolverine, because I think Larry Hama was on that.
Which is the one? Is it Generation X or Next? Who wrote that?
That was the one. Scott Lobdell actually launched that book, if I'm not mistaken, Gen X. Yeah, because I had that. I still have my first issue of Gen X.
That was the one with the foil cover, right?
Yeah. Man, they did. That's what like when I see Ethan holding up the Cyberfrog and the Salamandroid, which I bought all of them. I bought all the covers of Cyberfrog. So them chromium covers were looking pretty sweet. I was like, man, that really is taking me back to the 90s.
That was actually interesting at time, because that was Chris Bachalo or Bacalo.
Yeah, on Gen X, yeah.
Yeah, and he's totally different now. I liked him back then, but
you don't care for his stuff now?
Huh?
You don't care for his stuff now, or?
It's interesting. It's just weird. It's just it was an odd evolution, because he just seemed to go a whole other direction. Yo, says Sheen Arakelian. Yo, glad I caught some of your stream. Your speech yesterday really got me, man. Wishing you nothing but success with it. You got it, man. Thank you. Okay, says Elliot, I know you mentioned it, but what pen and nib are you using? Thinking of giving a shot at dip pens, and you inspire me. The pen I was using there was it's a Crow Quill. Oops, sorry about the earthquake. Crow Quill. Oh no, this one's banged up, I think. No, it's all right. Yeah, no, I just got some stuff on it. It looks wrong. Anyway, Crow Quill Hunt 102. And then you get a pen. Usually you can buy them together. It comes with the pen, the nib holder. I put this over it so it's easier for me to hold, so it's a little more ergonomic because I get pains in my hands, but it's pretty cool. All right. So this is a cool little monster though. He's cool. You don't think so?
Oh yeah, I'm digging. Well, that's the thing. I love most of the original art I have is not inked. It's like penciled, except for like the matte welding. I've got the matte welding things that I have are all inked, and like Kane, I've got the Caanan cover that he sent me. That was obviously penciled and then digitally inked. And then a lot of I've owned a couple of pieces from Jamie Biggs, and they look inked, but they're not inked. They're he uses different leads. It's all pencil. It's very heavy pencils.
Yeah.
And the line work is so tight that it scans very well, because I had to take it to Office Depot and have them scan it so I can get a high res, because he doesn't have Jamie doesn't have a scanner. So whenever he sends me something, I have to take it and get it scanned. And the lines are so dark, it looks like it's been inked, but it hasn't been. So
yeah, that you could do that with eventually you can take your pencils up to 9B, and then eventually there's something called ebony, and that's your blackest graphite. Pencils. For those of you who may or may not know, pencils are actually a combination of graphite and clay. So the clay is the binder, and the graphite, as you might know, is powder. So the clay keeps it. So what 9B or even ebony is like, it's almost pure graphite. It's just very little clay just to keep it tight together. It's also why when you draw with it's like drawing with butter, because there's hardly any clay to keep it. Now, sometimes the higher the H value, that's a B value. The higher the H value, that's where you have more clay to graphite. So eventually you get like a 5H or 6H. You can barely see that line. Like I have this pencil here, I think has a 2H. And by the way, your average pencil is HB, is a number 2 pencil. So it's the one that's in the middle. And the reason why they used to use that is because it would give you the what do you call it? It would shine. And so those old testing strips they used to put through the machine, and you have to use number 2 pencil. It was the one that, so it could use it. It was soft enough to go dark, but hard enough so that it wouldn't smear enough, so it can go through those machines. It's interesting stuff. I'm full of useless knowledge.
No, it was weird because, like I said, I enjoy watching you ink, and Doug was inking yesterday morning. He was inking one of the Earthworm gem pages, and he used, he does that ink wash stuff, and then I told you I watched Todd McFarlane's Instagram, and he was inking, and he's using some kind of Indian ink to do his, and he uses some kind of some really thin quill, because he was talking about, because anybody that watches Todd McFarlane's work, he has this knack for these really thin lines. He was showing some of the stuff he used, and I was like, I just found that stuff fascinating.
Yeah. No, it's a really interesting thing when you get into it. Sometimes I remember when I first started, I was like, what the heck, drafting tools, blah. But the more, of course, the more you do it, the more you realize, oh, there's a use for it. Oh, what does that do? I have really interesting. I was given a long time ago as a gift an old drafting, those compasses where you can draw circles.
Yes.
So I have one that the architects use, and it's like it's super long, and it starts off like this long. Well, I can't even. Why am I even showing you with my hands? Anyway, it's super long, and great tool. I love it. But yeah, it's, so you see how light this pencil is. Like you almost can't see it. I'll draw the same thing. I'll go over it with this. This is a new pencil I've been using. This is a 0.2 lead, so super thin. the point is actually not the lead. It's actually a metal shaft with a little bit of the lead poking out. Otherwise, it's too thin. It will snap every time. But watch this. You see that line, or you barely can see it, or you won't see it much because
it's very thin. Yes.
But you see how dark it got there?
Yes.
All right. So this is an HB lead. That's the difference. That's why I don't use this so much, because it's so dark that when I try to ink, sometimes I can't see the ink for the pencil because it's dark enough. They're almost the same depending on the lighting. So what I'll do is I'll draw it with either a color pencil or this one's actually been fun. Like I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy this. I need to get a sleeve for it so I can, because otherwise it hurts my hand. But what I like about this though, it's like, man, it's got a nice, because it's so thin, it's not interrupting my eyes for the inking, unless I try to darken things too much and make things too thick. But other than that, man, it's kind of cool. So you guys, you come into my channel and get a little art education, a little art, what do you call this? Demonstration. And Antonio Brice. Da-da-da. Now what I'm starting to do more of is take the I like to try to let the pencil draw super light and just kind of build up, you know, the form. That way, that's why I like using this one now. Also, this is a fatter pencil. It's more ergonomic. It's a 0.9 lead though. 0.9 lead obviously is bigger than a 0.2, but this one gives me a nice line though. So I was like, oh, you know what? It's weird. It's like it's the thinnest I've ever used. 0.2. I hear Jim Lee uses a 0.4. Mike uses a 0.5. But a lot of other people will use like a 0.7 or 0.9. This is a good tool if you're drawing really, really tiny. You know, if you're doing sketch cards or something, this is a really good tool. You wouldn't want to draw a big drawing with this little pencil. Sketch, what's going on, man? Says, I love it how you laid the light pencil in, give it a little shape, a little form, and then lay the ink, make the full work something to the whole. Thanks. Yeah, it's really about it's that building process that taking it from that one dimension to the next. But yeah, that's part of the fun of drawing, is just kind of waiting for the lines to kind of give you something to look at. Like, so, okay, I didn't like this one, so I erased that a little bit. All right. Hey, man, we're already almost in August, bro.
Yeah, I noticed.
This is my birth month right here.
When's your birthday?
I'm a Leo. I'm August 11th.
My brother's on the 16th.
Oh, snap. Yeah, I'll be at oh, by the way, guys, I'm going to be this weekend. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, I will be this weekend at Tampa Bay Comic-Con. We wrapped up the campaign, and I'm going to a Comic-Con, and I'm going to be hustling, and more hustling. Yeah, I'm a hustler. That makes sense?
I feel you on that.
Huh?
I feel you on that, brother.
Oh, man. Oh, Giorgio Sosa says he's August 10th. What? That's crazy. Captain Black Chismo says, Jerkmonger, I use a mix of 0.3 to 0.9. Yeah. I again, it's I look at it as the right tool for the job. If now I know, but I still don't want to use something too small. I actually prefer to use the 9 on most things, because especially for comic art, because I notice that when I draw smaller panels and smaller figures, I try to draw more detail, but that stuff you won't see when it prints. So there's no reason to draw that. It's actually a waste of time. It really is too. I mean, you might go, oh my gosh, look how nice. But did you see that the video that Zach just posted recently about the Stan Lee memo to Jim Shooter?
He did that one the other day, didn't he?
Yeah, I just saw it today. And it was funny because he was complaining about the artists who didn't draw good women. That was John Byrne. That he was.
Well, that's been a pretty that all his face, because I do notice, like I was looking at some of his Dark Phoenix stuff, and then I looked at like the Man of Steel miniseries.
Yeah.
And man, it's like the same face in there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well written, obviously, but it's he kind of, and his Sue Storm looks the same. It's like they got that long. They got some long face chicks, man.
Horse face.
They got the women have a strong face.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those artists that I give credit for showing me that comics is not something you need to. A lot of artists are trying to like reinvent the wheel with every panel. John Buscema, Sal Buscema, Jim Lee, McFarlane. If you look at all their women are the same practically. You think they don't because they do. Some do a better job of hiding it than others. Byrne had distilled his style to such a degree that you almost couldn't see the shift, or you could see the shift clearer rather. And it's other artists that they kind of like Jim Lee. All of Jim Lee's women look exactly the same. Storm looked just like Psylocke. She just had a mohawk or whatever, white hair and dark skin, and Psylocke had, but the shape of the eyes was the same. Everything. But,
there was a panel where I saw he drew. I'm trying to think. He drew Psylocke and Storm. And they were like all next to each other and stuff, and they did kind of look very similar.
Yeah, and I don't say that as a negative, by the way. I say that as a positive. Well, it depends how you look at it. A lot of fans like, oh, that's fake, man. You just kind of has the same shape. Well, yeah, because you're drawing these things, day in and day out, hour after hour, just trying to figure out how to make money at this. If you're not making that much money, now granted, those guys made pretty good money, but not until they went to Image. So prior to that, they weren't quite making the money. So
that's the thing, though. Even like. Now, what do you consider a good money? Because Todd McFarlane, when I saw the making of or the founding of Image documentary they did, and Todd admitted, Marvel was paying him like over 200 some odd thousand a year, and that was what 90.
Yeah, but you still have to. But you still have to produce that much artwork in that short amount of time.
Yeah, so he wasn't starving.
You can't be late though, and you won't get that job though.
Yeah.
So back then there was no late. Back then, everything was on time. So that was like the end of that. After that, when Image came out, then all of a sudden, Notebook came out on time. I remember that.
Or all those old Image books were all late. And I remember when Dale Keown, which I'd love to talk to Dale Keown, big fan of his. He did, what was it, Full Bleed Studios?
Yeah, I remember that.
And at first he was on his own, and then he brought Pitt to Image, but his books was late all the time. He would put, that's what's so weird now to see him. He's doing a lot of variant covers for Marvel. And I think he did it for another company too. He's got an Instagram. He started an Instagram on the sly. A lot of people don't know about because he's only got like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. It was weird, and I thought it was. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is some fan that's just posting art." And then he started posting like, stuff that hadn't been published yet. Like work in progress stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is really Dale Keown." It threw me off because I was just like, "This is actually him," but he's just kind of doing stuff kind of low key.
I don't enjoy him as much as I used to.
I still do. I would love, like I said, I would love to talk to him. Big fan. I'd love to talk about his Hulk run. I'd love to talk about him leaving the Hulk. Because I remember when he paired up with Peter David. I was just like, what? They had Gary Frank on there.
Yeah.
Gary Frank was on there. I was like, they had, they tried out so many different artists on the Hulk, and after Todd McFarlane left,
Frank wasn't bad.
No, Frank was excellent. And I actually like this art that I'm seeing on Doomsday Clock. I can't, although that book, man, they haven't done it any favors, just coming out whenever they want,
Who's drawing that book?
Frank Wiley. I mean, not Frank Wiley, Gary Frank. Gary Frank's drawing the book.
Why is he having so much trouble with the book?
I'm not exactly sure, because obviously I'm pretty darn sure Jeff Johns' script has been turned in for quite some time. But, you know, Gary Frank is doing phenomenal art on the book. So even though it's, because that book was supposed to have been done last year. You know, or maybe wrapping up earlier in the year, but they're putting the book out, and it's like, oh, okay, like 3-4 months ago, and they'll put out another issue and stuff. You know, it's that kind of thing. So I just decided I was going to wait. I'm going to wait till the whole thing's done, because I was reading little issues here and there, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to wait, because you want to know what the next story is, and then you got to wait 3 or 4 months for the next issue to come out. So
yeah,
I don't want to do that. So
that was definitely hard on the whole thing. If you were waiting for something to come out of it, I you know, going back to Keon, I liked him a lot, and I really did like his Pit run. I used to have the Pit Build-A-Figure, one of my favorite figures. But the reason why, by the way, you see what I'm doing here?
Yes, sir.
It's because the pencil's lines are so dark that I don't want to ink over it, because I won't see them. That's the downside to using the darker pencil.
I got you.
So I have to lighten it up a little bit. That's why I use that other, remember that bag that has eraser stuff in it? I use that for the same reason, to kind of just dab some of that graphite off. Anyway, now I'm using something called, this is a Zebra brush pen. It has like a weird like a marker tip. I don't know if you can see that or not. You probably can't. No.
I mean, it's showing up
enough. So it gives me some nicer, like almost cartoonier lines, but this is the thin one. This is the very fine one. Anyway, yeah, I thought, you know, I really think he's okay. I think he's good. I just it's just, I don't know. He's not, to me, he's not the way he used to be. That Hulk messed me up. For him, he was great on that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he ruined me for anybody else drawing the Hulk. I got to be honest.
And for him, because he draws a little differently than he used to. He's not quite. What's he done for covers at Marvel?
I had to. Okay, hold on. Now I got to pull up his Instagram, because he shows a lot of that stuff on there. Let me see here. Because I thought he drew something for. Let's see, pull his. Yeah. Because yeah, he's not verified or anything. Yeah, he's only got 1,792. Let's see. Okay, he did Hulk Last Call, but that was a whole book. Him and Peter David. Richard reviewed that. He gave it a good review.
Last Call. Is
Yeah,
that another Hulk the End book?
I think I haven't read it. I need, Richard said it was too good to spoil. He didn't want to ruin it. Here's a Hawkman variant cover. It looks good to me. It's beautifully colored, I will say that. Hulk, here's another Hulk thing. He drew some Immortal Hulk variants. This is a Walking Dead. He's got a Walking Dead Hero Initiative. He did something for the Hero Initiative. Walking Dead covers a zombie. It looks really badass. And here's I don't know if this is a cover. Here's a nice little pinup of Tony Stark in full color on his Instagram, and did a really good job on it. I mean, I'm enjoying. I'm just going through it. Here's a Deadpool. A Deadpool. I didn't think it's because here's an Asgardian Groot. So you've got Groot holding up Mjolnir, and yeah, man, Dale Keown out here killing the game. I love Pit. Oh man, that's a great Pit, man. I love Pit. Here's Iron Man in the Hulkbuster armor. I don't know if these are variants because I know was it Dan Slott was writing. If he's still, I don't know if he's still writing it, but and here's a variant cover for Immortal Hulk #1. How many Hulk books are there now? Because
I don't know. I'm so disappointed. By the way, I'm glad I didn't see that movie, man. Infinity War. The last one.
You talking about Infinity War, Endgame? Because I thought Infinity War was good. I thought Endgame was.
I finally saw it in the commercial for the Blu-ray release, and I was like, "What is wrong with the Hulk? Why does he look like Shrek? He doesn't look like the Hulk anymore. He looks like a little boy in a weird jacket or something. Why? Oh, I was so upset. I was like, forget it. I'm not gonna even rent it. I'm not gonna do nothing. They ruined my Hulk. They ruined the Hulk. Can't watch it. Did you like the Hulk in that movie?
The Professor Hulk.
If you say the wrong thing, we're no longer friends.
It just, I don't know. It just, the Professor Hulk. I like more of the Savage type Hulk.
Yes, thank you, man. I don't even really want to care about it, to be honest. I don't really want to care about it because then I have to think about it. Then I have to think, oh, maybe I should see it. Like, no, I don't want to give them my money. But I gotta say though, for me, I liked Gary Frank's take. That even Keon had a little bit of that in there, right? Didn't he also do a little bit of a Smart Hulk for a second? I can't remember, but
yeah, he was drawing, because they were doing that. What was that little think tank that was trying to go against the Hulk? They had that storyline. I can't remember. Peter David. What would you say? Pantheon was
the Pantheon.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was all that.
Yeah, I so yeah, for me it was always and believe it or not, I like John Buscema's Hulk, but my favorite Hulk is Sal Buscema's Hulk, when he would look like a freaky monster with a weird, like, jacked up lip, like his upper lip had all those weird little jagged edges, and he was so scary, bro. And who was that? We were talking about him the other day, about Kirby, about looking at the way the way he drew the Hulk. Like, he was clearly a monster. He's supposed to look weird, a little more deformed. To me, I remember my cousin was like, "Yo, who's this Hulk with the DA?" His haircut was, he called it a DA. I was like, yeah, he's smart now, I guess. What? He screamed about it too. But oh well, man. I know that in that particular, I was like, why is he smiling all the time? No, why? No. I feel like we haven't had a sufficiently a perfect raging Hulk yet in the things. It's just, it's all right. I don't know. In the comic, he was interesting enough, but not. It was different. And sometimes that's enough for a comic book, but.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, because I thought that the Smart Hulk, Professor Hulk, plays very well in the comic books. It looked kind of strange in the movie because they had to alter some of the CGI, because all of a sudden when you have Savage Hulk in the Avengers movies, he's constantly raging, rah, rah, so he's always moving real fast. You're not looking for him to act, so you're keeping the camera's always moving very fast.
Yeah.
He's not staying in frame. Now he's actually having dialogue, so now you have to stay on him. He's sitting down, eating breakfast with the other guys, and people are coming up and asking for autographs. It looks weird. It wasn't bad CGI, but man, it was strange to me. And I actually, that's kind of what I was, because I was kind of hoping that we might get a Joe Fixit. That was one of the things.
No, that would be interesting. I didn't like him in the comics, though. I like him more.
You didn't like Joe Fixit?
I didn't like that take. I'm a strictly Savage Hulk guy.
Oh no, Gray Joe Fix-It Hulk, in Vegas handling business. Oh man. That was my stuff, man.
Remember when Mr. Fix-It teamed up with Wolverine, or when he was wearing the eye patch?
Oh, you're talking about the John Buscema
Yeah.
Wolverine. What was that? Wolverine number 6 or 7?
Yeah, look at you. Well,
And yeah, I had that issue. I sold it. I was just
I still got it. Still got it, baby. Minty fresh too. Actually, I bought it off my uncle. He gave it.
There was some great Wolverine because Claremont and Buscema together, man. I thought they did. There was some really. I think it was, they had the Silver Samurai story with that cursed sword that I thought was really good. I think it was the Sabretooth story in Wolverine number 10 that I thought was amazing.
Okay.
That's where they revealed that every year on Logan's birthday that Sabretooth finds him no matter where he is in the world and beats his ass and just goes. That's the thing. That's why I always tripped out when they decided they go, Sabretooth's he's too weak because Wolverine's got the adamantium, so now we've got to give Sabretooth adamantium. And so
he didn't need it before.
Yeah, that was the whole point. And Chris Claremont even said that. He said, even though Wolverine had all those extra advantages, Sabretooth was bigger and stronger and could still beat his ass. That was the whole point of that. And then they go, oh, we gotta give him adamantium so he can compete with Wolverine. And I was like, that's somebody that hadn't been paying attention and doesn't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So
who wrote that?
So many writers. Like I didn't even people talk about how great Larry Hama's run was, and I was like, I love Larry Hama, right? But he admitted that he didn't like the idea of Sabretooth being Wolverine's father, which is what they were building up to. Chris Claremont admitted that he was going to set it up where Sabretooth was Wolverine's dad, and then they made it where they're half brothers or whatever. But Larry didn't like that idea. So then he wrote that story where Nick Fury did a blood sample on Logan and them. And he was like, no, you're not, you're connected, but you're not the same or whatever. You're not father and son or whatever. And he specifically did that, but I mean, Claremont was going at that point, and I don't know. Just because I remember what Claremont went over to DC and he did that creator-owned Sovereign 7.
Yeah,
I have that. Yeah, it was him and what was it? Was it Dwayne Turner or Michael? I'm trying to remember. I think that was him.
It wasn't Michael Turner. I know the artist.
I thought it was Dwayne Turner.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he ended up drawing Spawn for a little while too. Let's see. Slacker Hall said, "Half brothers. When did that happen?" Well, they've implied that in the the Wolverine Origins miniseries. What did they call? Because that's when they came up with the James Howlett name, and apparently the dudes, what they call him, Dog or something. It was crazy. They had a whole thing that Wolverine's Origins. Yeah, the origin. Yeah, Sabretooth and Wolverine like half brothers. But Claremont's idea was for them to be father and son. Sabretooth was going to be Wolverine's father. And
do that?
What you say?
Are you glad? I think it's better that way?
I wish it had, since Claremont was so fundamental in Wolverine's origins and everything, and in creating that backstory. Obviously he didn't create him, but he was there when Sabretooth was created, and because they created Sabretooth as a Iron Fist villain. He was John Byrne created. I think Claremont was actually writing that. I think because John Byrne was definitely the artist on Iron Fist.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Claremont was writing because he was just getting his feet wet. He had written for like Marvel UK because that's where he created Betsy Braddock and Captain Marvel over Captain Britain. You know, the Betsy Braddock because that's you know, I've seen a couple of issues on eBay of that particular issue where they introduced Psylocke, but it was for Marvel UK. And then they go, oh, well, this is their first U.S. appearance. But the first appearance overall was in Marvel UK. And you can find it on eBay, but it costs like $1,200. No, Sabretooth's first appearance, especially if you have it graded, that costs a mint. But I was talking about Psylocke's first appearance.
Oh,
yeah, because Chris Claremont created her over when he was writing for Marvel UK. And, you know, he's British. A lot of people forget that. He's actually, I mean...
Is he?
Yeah.
I've never heard him speak.
No, he's British. I'm trying to think. I think he lives in Canada now, but he's British. He's born in the UK. Just like John Byrne. Was born. Yeah, John Byrne was born in England and then raised in Canada. But yeah, him and Byrne, you know, teamed up on Iron Fist, and Sabretooth came in. Sabretooth wasn't meant to really be a mutant. They wasn't even doing mutant stuff. It was weird. Because if you look at old Sabretooth, he was written a little different. And
isn't Whirlwind a mutant also?
Which one?
Whirlwind. The green guy from the Avengers, he's one of the Masters of Evil.
I think this. If I'm not mistaken, you are correct. I remember him.
Yeah,
Tornado. It kind of reminded me of that character from the Super Friends. What was the samurai character?
Yeah.
And you could just that was the Super Friends, like, especially when you can start seeing when they injected social justice in there. It's like we need heroes of every ethnic. You know, you got Apache Chief, which now apparently Apache Chief is offensive.
Yeah,
I loved Apache Chief when I was a kid, but apparently, did you like him too or no?
I love him.
Yeah, but apparently that was extremely offensive to Native Americans.
Oh.
So they had Black Lightning.
He was Black Vulcan.
Black Vulcan, okay, Black something. That's why I was like Black ass.
Yeah, the comic book eventually gave him Black Lightning, but in the cartoon he was Black Vulcan.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, apparently, just like I've heard some people say that Spirit from G.I. Joe was
offensive,
and
really?
I don't know. I like Spirit. Spirit was one of my favorite Joes.
Yeah, well, I guess then. Well, how come nobody talks about a Storm Shadow? He was just as offensive. You look at it that way.
Oh yeah,
but nobody ever talks about that. I don't know, man. I love all that.
Ask you this: did you not notice that they seem to let's see. Let's go sketch therapy. Let's see, rhetorical. How many image articles do you have stored in your head? And is the emotional connections to these things that makes us recall details to this day, while we get to get the periodical school cheat list. I definitely think if something gives you, and they've talked about this when they've studied the human mind, where if things give us pleasant memories or unpleasant memories, then you recall them a lot more clearly. They're more ingrained in your brain. I definitely got a lot of pleasure reading comics and reading the interviews with the people that make comics. So I don't know. I was just like, oh man, I remember this. This is the Rob Liefeld interview. Oh, this is when Todd McFarlane. This is when they interviewed all the Image guys when they first announced that they left Marvel, and yeah, those things stick out a little bit more.
Do you remember Comic Scene, the magazine? Comic Scene.
Comic Zine?
No, Comic Scene, like a movie scene. I think it was called that.
That
was one of the premiere. I could never afford it. It was always too expensive. By the time I could afford anything like that, that's when Wizard came out. Oof, I used to love Wizard. Wizard was just like getting a fresh comic book. I couldn't wait for Wizard to come out. Oh,
yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. I really wish Wizard still exists. I don't know if it could still exist in print form now because so many print magazines just the cost is so prohibitive and circulation is down. And
if only there was another magazine somewhere.
well, hopefully.
I'm throwing it out there, just saying, little hintsy hints. Anyway, no man, that was my favorite part of it was it had the little feature for artists too, and I liked it when they had like writing ones too. Did you ever read those? Did you ever like pay attention to anything like that? Like there was a magazine that came out. There was one called it was called Draw, and then there was another book magazine called Right Now. You ever read that? From Tomorrow Publishing?
This is stuff that I would see on like the stands and stuff. But like when I went to the comic shop, they stocked Wizard, and there was these little magazines these little like free newspapers that they would put in or whatever, and they would have. I don't know if they would I think they were paid for collectively by like all the comic publishers, and that way their books would be listed, and it'd be like a little, like about 3 or 4 page folded thing. And I still have some of them in my long box and stuff. I just kept them instead of throwing them out. Maybe it's because I'm a pack rat, but it's cool when I go back through some of my old comics and I say, man, this thing's like 25 years old. I'll just read the articles and stuff. And
was it Comic Scene? Maybe Comic Scene was the newspaper one that I think you're talking about.
Everett Todd says Comic Shop News. Yes, Comic Shop News. Yeah,
yeah.
That was great.
The one it was like a bigger magazine.
Yeah, Comic Shop News, man. Yeah, I love that stuff. They'll tell you I still got some of them. That's why I didn't throw them out for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I kept them.
Do you remember when DC came out with something called Wednesday Comics?
I never read that.
They were treating it like the Sunday comics. They were printing it on newsprint, and they were like big, oversized. They looked like the newspaper comic strips.
Now, in the Comic Shop News, one thing I will say, they were reprinting some of the old Batman and Robin comic strips from like the 40s or whatever. The old Bob Kane, whoever was writing Batman back then. I don't know if he was writing the actual newspaper strip Batman, but they Comic Shop News was actually printing some of the old 40s, and they actually colored them and stuff. It was like, I was talking about like you see that old Joker and everything. I was like, wow, this is cool, man. Seeing old cartoon strip. I used to read the Spider-Man comic strip that used to, they used to print, because Stan Lee wrote the Spider-Man comic strip for several. I think he wrote it for a decade at least.
Yeah, that was one of the last things he did with Alex Saviuk.
Oh, nice. I like that you knew the artist. But I'm about to say, I wonder if I can find a collected edition of those. It's probably on Amazon. I'd love to find.
Yes, they have them.
To read that.
They have a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, we were talking about Dick Tracy earlier, and I had read some of those, and I was like reading that old Dick Tracy. What was it? What's the guy? The Spirit, not the Spirit. The Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of those old cartoons, and something else I was talking about earlier was Alley Oop. There's a cartoon called Alley Oop.
Oh yeah.
And had the caveman, and they brought him into the future or whatever, and somehow he learned English. And but I mean, the reason I mentioned that there's gonna be something in brand that I specifically stole from Alley Oop.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I had to. It's an homage to Alley Oop. Let's see, Half Mad Jesus. I think Carmine Infantino did art on at least some of those. Probably right. I would not big fan of Mr. Infantino's. And let's see. Oh, I just got a new page of color.
Oh,
for brand, and it looks stellar. Man, that's a great looking page. I cannot. I gotta. Okay, shoot him his money. He wants to get paid.
hey.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't want
it? Yeah, he's. But yeah, I think they do have those collected editions of the Spider-Man strip, and I'd love to get some of those. But I don't know. I used to read all kind of crazy stuff. Like I said, Dick Tracy. Even read. There was. I'm trying to remember. There was this. It kind of reminded me of Perry Mason. It wasn't Nancy Drew. I don't know what it was, but it was a strip. But it was like a series. It was like a strip from the 40s or 50s, but they were still reprinting it like in the 70s and 80s when I was coming up.
Are you talking about Brenda Starr?
It might be. It was a woman lead and everything, and it was just. I used to see the black and white strips all the time.
Redhead that had like a mole on her lip. If it's the same character.
Because I was like, yeah, it was just. It was more. It reminded me more of like a soap opera or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I was like, it would be in there with like Garfield and Nancy and Sluggo and all that. Yeah. Okay. So Brenda Stark. I was like, I just remember that cartoon. I was like, what is this?
There was another one called Modesty Blaze, but that was a little more. I don't think it was a strip. I think it was a genuine comic, but it had the flavor. I forget who the artist was. Also, super excellent work. Hey man, I wish people like Superman.
The reason I thought about that because John Romita. We've talked about this before. John Romita was doing romance comics before, and then Steve Ditko decided he didn't want to work with Stan on Spider-Man anymore, and he obviously stepped down. And although he ended up working with him again on Doctor Strange, but you had that geeky kid, Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, John Romita Sr. comes in and he makes Peter Parker all handsome and everything, and he loses the glasses. And it's Prince Valiant. I read that. I definitely read Prince Valiant. I love the chat. I was like, yeah, Prince Valiant. I remember all those trips. I don't know. My mom was born in 1937, so a lot of those, she always got the paper and always liked to look at the that was something that she would always look at with me or something. But that's where I saw Alley Oop. And that's why I saw Alley Oop, and they were reprinting these books from like the 30s or whatever. And it's just, and because like I said, when I was looking at, well, I guess if it was Brenda Starr, I just it like I said, it wasn't a kid's strip, but
no.
Like Nancy was, what's that, Kathy?
Oh, yeah.
Which that was some feminist propaganda right there.
My mom loved Kathy. I hated it. I didn't get it. Sometimes it was funny. If my mom would have to explain it to me though, but it was definitely a women's strip in The Office. That was definitely that was their target audience. Well, her target audience. Have you seen that video? I talk a lot about Stripped. That documentary on you can rent it on you can buy it from the website, but you can also rent it on Amazon Prime. It's called Stripped, and it's about the newspaper strip business and how it basically fell apart with the newspaper business. And while there still are newspapers out there, obviously there's not as much in circulation as there used to be. And a lot of the only new strips are these old the old ones reprinted because they won't experiment on anything else. They don't have enough, because the strips used to sell the paper. So that's interesting. It makes me wonder, like, why were comics so accessible in pharmacies? That was weird. You remember that?
Yeah. definitely.
There were 7-Elevens for sure for a lot of us, but for me, it was also at the pharmacy. That's where I bought most of my copies of my original set of Secret Wars. I remember when that came out. Oh my god, Spider-Man got that black costume. We're like, what? And all my friends were like freaking out, like, oh snap! What you see, Peter Parker? Blah 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 blah. But today, nobody cares. Anyway,
yeah, man, but dude, I don't know. I've always just liked the medium of, of,
I'm saying you should check out that video because you're gonna flip when you see it, because they go through a lot of the guys who were, excuse me, were prominent at the time doing paper strips. A lot of the guys you're talking about, they talk about Alley-oop. They talked to they even had a small segment with they wouldn't show his face, but it was the first time he had recorded an interview in years with Watterson. That was great.
Oh, Bill Watterson?
Yeah, man. That guy's a hero to me. I'm telling you, that's gonna be my next thing, man. I really want, not my next thing for this stuff, but as I get older, I want to stock away some ideas for comic strips. I love comic strips. I love them, and I don't think I can write them as well, but like Watterson was just in a phenom, you know.
Yeah, very much so. As him and what's the guy that did Far Side? I used to read that.
That was Bill something, right? No, not Bill. Oh, I forgot that guy's name. Oh, I can't remember. Maybe somebody in the chat would tell us who the author of that was.
Oh man.
I want to say something with a spoon. I thought, not Witherspoon, it was something. Larson, that's it. Gary Larson.
Yeah, okay, and then there was,
which makes me think of Gary Shipman now.
Because yeah, I mean,
well, Gary Shipman actually does a pretty good job of doing like the Bill Watterson thing.
Oh, he's got that style down pat. I saw actually on his Instagram or something, he had some of that art. Yeah, I mean, he nailed that. I mean, real talk. But let's see. Rhino 4563.
Singing my Superman.
Dondi.
Remember Dondi? I love that. The art on Dondi was great.
Let me see. Evertard. The Boondocks was a newspaper strip. Yeah, he was doing it like college. You know, he was doing that for some of the college papers.
Who? Frank Cho?
No, the Boondocks, Aaron Magruder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Frank Cho did it too. He did Liberty Meadows was, it used to be University Squared, and he did that for the University of Maryland, I believe. Is where he went to school. And then he did it by himself, and he published it through. I have all the big trade paperbacks of it. I love that cartoon style from Cho, man. He killed it. But you know, some people don't like that stuff. I do. Oh, I think I got something cooking here. Looking pretty good. Pretty. Ow. All right. Hopefully this ink dries nice. Yep, so far so good. Little black and red, baby.
Let me see. Heroship Paradox says there's one current strip I like that reminds me of Calvin and Hobbes. It's called Wallace the Brave. I've heard of that. I haven't read it though.
Is it in newspapers?
Yeah, let me look that up because I've someone mentioned that one to me. I was talking about let's see.
Wallace the Brave. That sounds fun.
Wallace the Brave, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it does. I'm looking at They've got some of it online, and you could definitely. The style's a little mangled up a bit, but you can get it on like Amazon and stuff. Yeah, it's you can tell he's Bill Watterson. Definitely good claim to be his father.
Yeah, I was just gonna say a son of Bill Watterson.
Yeah, I'm sure Bill has a lot of children.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bloom. Oh man, Bloom County. I remember Bloom County.
Bloom County was a hard to read strip, right?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't that hard. You know what it was hard? It was Doonesbury. It was too political.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the
it's probably good though. I don't think it was in favor of my politics today, but
yeah, I didn't enjoy. I would read Doonesbury because every now and again Doonesbury had some really funny stuff. Like they had that cigarette character. They had the walking cigarette character, and I thought that was hilarious.
you could have that today. You know what's cool though about it, in my opinion, was that the art style was slick, man. The way that dude was killing it. He see, that's what I find appealing is when you get that nice bold line. Like even this doesn't has some of it. You get that nice, beautiful, bold black line, man. It looks so killer. And when you get the right control of it, that's what inspired me in my work. Was that stuff. Artists. That's one of the reasons why I gravitated so quickly to uh, Madureira, because his lines had that nice bold. It's what they. I think that's what people mean when they say it's appealing or nice shapes and things of that nature. It just looks good, man. That's my favorite thing in the world. When that stuff, when it looks good, it's good. It's not just good; it's great. Sometimes people don't know how to do it. So, oh man, I just dipped my finger. See that? All that red.
I do.
That's what I hate because there was too much in there. I gotta repaint a little bit. Um, that's what I mean sometimes when I talk about, some people's, I always look at some people's work and I see t-shirt art, and like t-shirt art needs to be bold. When I see it sometimes with really thin lines, it doesn't quite work for me because and I realize it's somebody's style, and I get that, but it's not, it lacks that ultimate appeal because it's not, it looks unfinished because the lines are too small or too thin, I should say. See, now I got red all over my hand. Stupid Elliot. Elliot, you're so stupid. Sound like CRIDIOUS.
How many times would you guess that you've drawn Superman?
How many times?
Yes, because I've seen a lot. That seems, I don't know, because I know you do con commissions and stuff like that. I suspect you've probably drawn Superman a few thousand times.
Very rare, actually.
Really?
He doesn't sell very well. Nobody ever. I might have drawn him for commission maybe 5 times, maybe 10. I doubt 10. I think on one hand I can count it. He's just not a popular enough character. He's one of my favorites. I did some work for a gentleman who was an art director at Disney, and I was so happy to do the work with them, and I got to know him a little bit. So I did some art for him and his son. And his son's a big fan. He was young at the time. He's much older now. It's too bad now because I meant to give it to him, but he ended up he was an Imagineer. He ended up going off to, I think it was Disney China, Disney Singapore. And he was like the head guy over there. Then he came back, and every once in a while we catch up. We'll see each other at a show or something. But yeah, there's Superman. What do you think?
It looks beautiful.
Grab this rag here. Oops, earthquake. Yeah, I gotta just wipe this off my hand, otherwise it's gonna track everywhere. I imagine Wonder Woman sells better. Everett Todd says no. I don't do. I've done a few of her for sure, but I get a lot of Batman. I get a lot of when I because I did some Harley work. I get Harley from time to time. What do you call it? I've done certain X-Men do sell really well. Spider-Man, ironically, is a good seller. I've done some Catwoman, yeah. It's Pixel. I've done a few Hulk. I've done some Hulk, and there was a time when I was really known for drawing Hulk. I had this avatar that I used to showcase a lot. It was a green digital painting of a green with blue highlight color stuff. It was really nice. And so everybody knew me as the Hulk guy. Where's the Hulk guy? And then after that, it was just, they started to get to know me by Jerkmonger. But Batman, I do a lot more of. Batman's probably my most popular character I've drawn. Every once in a while, oh crud! Ran my chair into the desk. Every once in a while, I'll end up doing like a Jean Grey. I've done a lot of Jean Greys, Wolverines. I've done a few Iron Man, but not enough. I don't draw Iron Man. When people ask me, I tell them I won't draw it. I don't care how much they pay me, because it's like drawing an airplane. I don't care.
Interesting.
I hate drawing inanimate objects. They're boring.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of revisionist history with Iron Man. There's a lot of people who act like he's been popular for 50 years and he hasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason he was always on team books, because he got canceled multiple times.
Yeah. That's why. So to your point, like I didn't read. I read the Demon in the Bottle story, but I didn't really care about it. So I kind of barely remember that. But for me, my introduction to him, Captain America, that was all through the Avengers. Max Hammer says, if and when I'm able to get another commission from you, it will be Superman. Well, right on, man. Thank you. Daniel C says, would love to see Elliot draw the New Gods. Yeah. I love the New Gods. I love the New Gods. I can tell you who I love. Nobody ever asked me for the New Gods. And that's ooh. I never think of them either, though. When people ask me, hey, what do you want to draw? Sometimes people ask me, what do you want to draw? Because I like when the artist is having fun. Like, well, look, man, being at a convention is not as fun as you think it is. Just tell me what you want. Poor people. I give them a hard time. But I love drawing the Hulk too. I love drawing the Hulk. Oof. Mostly monster stuff, but the Hulk's one of my favorite monsters. I draw him to death. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Who's Jack Treehorn? Says Billy the Wombat. Jack Treehorn treats objects like women. Man, treats objects like women. What? Who that is? Anyway, what else? Yeah, I've done Catwoman quite a bit. Spider-Man, Venom. I've done a lot of Venom. You're kind of right. I mean, this wasn't Venom. I didn't intend him to be Venom, but there's something in this that's very Venom-esque. It could have been Venom. Actually, this could be Venom. It could be an interesting twist on him, more bulky. People wouldn't like it though. They'd be like, no, he's gonna look exactly like the way artists. Well, there's all these artists. Yeah, well, I've drawn Power Girl a few times, Chaos. A few times. Tree Horn from the Big Lebowski. I get it. All right. Fair enough. Let's see. What else?
I asked another artist this, because I started noticing some of the artists on Instagram when they were, saying their commissions list was open, they would have to put little notices up saying that they weren't doing nudes. And I'm curious about that. Do people ask you? Because I'd asked another artist this, do people ask you to draw nude stuff all the time?
I've had a few requests. I don't do them because usually the nude they're asking for is really just kind of like pornographic. And I'm like, yeah, man, I don't do that. But, I don't have a problem drawing a classic, beautiful woman, and something tasteful. But no, it's only been a couple times, though. But I definitely don't advertise that I would, though. Elliot, sorry to deviate from the convo, but I have a legit question. Well, don't we all, though, Oshin? Don't we all? Is there any way of being able to ship original inked page plus fame outside the areas listed on Indiegogo. You mean like in the overseas? If you look at, I believe if you it should say in the description that if you wanted to have something like that shipped, that you should contact me independently, and we can work that out for most other countries. So if you are interested in that, just send me a message through, I guess, through Indiegogo, or you can send it to me through Twitter, I suppose, whichever is most convenient. Rhino4563 says, Dripmonger, how about no one knew who Iron Man was because during Secret Wars, Rhodey was in the armor and everyone thought Iron Man was a black guy, and everyone was a black guy when part of the armor came off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that.
Because, Rhodey was not, that was the whole point. Tony did not want, well, that was the whole point where they were saying that Iron Man was Tony Stark's bodyguard. And only certain people knew that Tony Stark was Iron Man. And some, obviously some of the Avengers knew.
Right.
But he was a drunk and he did not want to let the rest of the team know that he was a drunk. So Rhodes was just going in there, and I noticed, and this is something Richard was really good at pointing out, that when Rhodes was in the Iron Man suit, all of a sudden they were like writing him with like a black scent or whatever. They were having him. He was like all of a sudden talking like he was in a blaxploitation, movie, but he was in the Iron Man. Yeah, that was. Although David Michelinie did a pretty good job during that. I mean, that's a classic Iron Man story, but yeah, he definitely. I thought he did a good job of demonstrating that. Rhodes talks differently than Tony Stark.
I don't remember that way. That must have been a good comic then, because I remember the time and I don't remember those things. I only notice it when it's done poorly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was like,
I never paid attention to that. Except Cap. Cap always talks like Superman all the time.
Yeah. Oh no! Classic Cap used to call everybody son.
Yeah, yeah.
Son. Yeah. He was talking like he's an old ass man and stuff, which I know he's born in like, what was it, 19 something. I mean, obviously in modern time he'd be like 100 some years old, but he'd be like, look, son, part of being a hero would be is that kind of shit. I'd be like, okay, man. Right, and I think that's why some people were good at writing Captain America and some people weren't. I'd like to talk to Mark Grunwald, because he wrote Captain America for like at least about a decade, I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
But right there at the end, he came up with that weird Captain America was dying. They were about to hand everything over to Mark Waid and was it Ron Garney? And they came up with that armor. It was like everybody had armor at that time because they had the Spider-Man armor, and I'm not talking about the Iron Spider suit. There was a horrible. It was right before they went to that Clone Saga, and Spider-Man had the armor. They had those hollow foil variants or hollow foil main edition. Cover every cover had a hologram of Spider-Man with that armor on, and he had. I'm trying to remember who he was fighting, but he needed armor. And
well, Cap was, remember, they put Cap in the armor because he was losing. He was
because the Red Skull.
No, the super soldier serum was killing him or something, or he was running out.
I'm saying he was dying. The suit was causing a deceleration or whatever.
Yeah. And then and that was Mark Waid's story when he comes back with it was called no, it was not Born Again. What was it? Hero Reborn or something Reborn.
Hero Reborn is that bullshit Rob Liefeld and Jim.
Yeah. But I'm trying to remember, what was that called? The Captain America story. I had it on the tip of my tongue a second ago. Anyway, that was the big return of that was Mark Waid and Ron Garney, man. That was the best. That led into Man Without a Country.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things that's one of the things where I could be kind of sympathetic to Mark Waid, because he, like I said, he would sit down with Wizard all the time, because he talked about that in Wizard, and that was also around the time when he talked about some of the issues that him and Scott Lobdell just had different writing styles, and that's why it didn't work when he was on the X.
Operation Rebirth. Go ahead.
And then so Operation Rebirth, he felt like he got the shaft from Marvel, and he said our sales were going up, but I guess they weren't going up fast enough for what Marvel wanted. And so they gave Rob Liefeld Captain America. And so he had to wrap all his storyline up. That he had a whole big thing. He might have wrote, if they hadn't killed it, him and Ron might have wrote one of those stories that we're still talking about like 30 years from, you know what I'm saying? If they had screwed him. Because when they finally relented and they gave him and Ron the book, they was like, okay, they saw the smoke and mirrors that was Rob Liefeld, and the sales bottomed out and everything, and they go, let's give the fans what they want. Let's bring Ron and Mark back. And when they brought him back, and I bought in again, because I was like, oh, Ron and Mark on Captain America was great, but it was like they had lost everything he had tried to do. It was kind of hard to get back on there, and it just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I jumped back on too, for that one. But I remember it was pretty painful. It was I forget the name of that storyline. Something at night. I forgot. That's when he lost the shield. That was actually pretty great. That was a great, like, I was like, no, he lost the shield. Like, I was genuinely like, that's messed up, man. That he had that goofy triangle shield for a while, for the World War I. I was like, oh man, it's not the same. But you could tell he was sad about his shield. Like, that was like his best friend. I was like, oh man, that's dope. And then when he got it back, I was like, yeah, spoilers.
But like I said, when him and Garney the first time, they were doing something. And it was, I thought it was going to be special. And
well, it was special. I mean, Operation Rebirth is a great story, and it just I think in general, what you really, it's the team was special for sure. Like they couldn't bring it back. They lost the momentum of the original story.
Yeah, that's what, because they were doing stuff with Sharon, and I mean, like I said, I thought, yeah, it's definitely a good story, and I have good memories of it. But I'm talking about, it's not something that people are talking. They're talking about it because it was like what could have been. It's like that's where, like I said, because it was definitely, they started off right. I mean, I would have loved to see what if they had just left Wade and Ron Garney alone, instead of going, hey, Rob Liefeld's going to take over Captain America. Sorry, buddy. then we get barrel-chested Captain America. We get fighting American. We get lawsuits. Rob being unceremoniously released from Image Comics, although he says they said we fired him, and because that was what's so funny in the documentary. He was like, I left, we fired him. It was like everybody else was like, we fired him. And so in any case, he was gone.
Yeah. Remember when he did an issue of Teen Titans? Do you remember that?
Yeah, he went, I mean, when he went back to DC, he did a lot of stuff. He did Hawkman.
Did he do Deathstroke too?
I think he did do Deathstroke, but I know he did Hawkman. And then what was the other thing he did? Because I think he was drawing like Teen Titans or something.
I like to check out those Teen Titan issues now.
Yeah, because he went back there, all of a sudden Rob Liefeld's back at. That's why I was like, you know, I've mentioned that to Richard, and I've noted me and him had those conversations in private where we both like, man, Rob Liefeld should have been a multi-millionaire, and instead he's probably just got like 2-3 million in the bank, maybe 4, but he's working way too hard for somebody. You know, he should be, you know, at least in the space of like a Jim Lee, where you'd have like 30-40 million put back. You know that. You know, Mark Silvestri. You know, it's gonna be hard to be like Todd McFarlane when you got like 300 or 400 million put back. Yeah. But Rob, you know, having created so many things, you know, like creating Deadpool and all this kind of stuff, he should have, you know, if you say, okay, Rob's got like 30-40 million, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's not bad. Because Eric Larson's got millions. You know, he didn't squander his money, and all he did was create Savage Dragon. Although I've got some friends that are like huge Savage Dragon fans.
I'm actually a pretty big Savage Dragon fan myself. I know, but I don't like the new stuff now. I think his stuff is way too degenerate. I don't understand it. Like I'm like, this is ultra gratuitous. It's not even trying to be a story anymore. But at the same time, that was part of the charm of his original run. Like I remember around I think it was issue 75 where he had switched. That's when I finally jumped in. I was like, oh man, I can see his inspiration. Kirby Dragon was like a Kirby love song, and I was like, wow, that was cool, man. He was doing Kirby all along, and then he even did a whole world that felt like that. But that was, you know, I haven't been able to get into it now that the son is the dragon, not the dragon is dead or something. He
got replaced by his son.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of that, but that weird Asian wife of his that's just always jumping on his face. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I saw somebody sent me this because I don't know, because I do sexy party. People send me stuff sometimes, and I saw he was shaving himself, and she was like on his shoulder. It was some weirdo stuff. What's he doing?
He shows women's crotches all the time. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I was laughing, and I was just like, yeah, they would do it.
Party.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's super sexy now. I mean, literally super sexy.
Oh man, that's hilarious. But yeah, I saw. Yeah, she was shaving and he was shaving, and I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's some odd stuff going on there.
Yeah.
That universe, and then there's the other girl who was the daughter of the super girl that Dragon was messing with. She shows up all the time for a threesome, all the time. I'm like, what am I looking at here? Forget it. I can't. This doesn't make any sense. And it's super casual. Like, hey, you know, they could be talking about, I fought this guy. Hey, by the way, I'm like, whoa. It's like comic book porn. That's what it is.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
And if you guys think I'm exaggerating in the chat, I am not exaggerating. It is exactly that. Weird. Eric Larson, I think he's a little touched.
Well, I've been in conversations on the Twitter where he got tagged in and somehow ended up chiming in on it. Yeah. I bought a lot of his Spider-Man stuff though.
I loved him on that stuff. I didn't like him then though. I was so mad that McFarlane left. I couldn't appreciate him. Today I appreciate Larson in the whole other light. Again, he looks like, I don't know if he really is, but he looked like he was having fun on his book, on anything he did. I mean, he did the Defenders for a little bit. It was good. It was cool, man. You know, he really did a good job. Who some of the most consistent creators for me were guys like Arthur Adams. Is one of my favorites. from that time. Marino 54563 says, "You guys remember ForceWorks?" Yep, I love that first run because I like that version of Wonder Man. Yep, him and Spider Woman, the red hair. What was going on with that?
That's the Secret Wars Spider Woman.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. But that's the thing. They were like, Marvel actually had the Venom costume on the Spider Woman before it came out in Secret Wars. And I was like, that's true, but that was just because of the release of the books and all that. They had, you work in comics, you know that they have the story plots and everything set up before the release of the book.
Right.
And that gentleman that created the Venom costume, and they paid him what, $250 or whatever to for the rights to his costume.
What now?
Yeah, there was a contest Marvel had. They were trying to redesign Spider-Man's costume, and this guy, I think Jim Shooter paid the guy like $200 or whatever, $250.
Oh
and
wow!
He he drew the Venom costume, and they thought it was dope, and he got like 200 some bucks, and they've made hundreds of millions of dollars off of so I always wondered, have they gone back and said, hey man, we need to,
what do you think,
come up with a little bit of go ahead. Yeah, it was like they've made hundreds of millions of dollars off the Venom costume.
Are they gonna do another Venom movie?
Yeah, well, God. Yeah, they're gonna. I didn't think Venom was that. Yeah, I know people were like, "Oh, it's actually great," and I was like, "I like Tom Hardy." I didn't think Venom was that great. I got to be honest about it.
I liked it, but I don't think it was great either.
I mean, it was watchable though. I didn't get out of the theater and walk out and I feel like all angry and stuff because I was confused when I walked out of Endgame. I go, "What the hell is time travel?" And I'm getting into arguments with people over that because I was like, they just completely made up the rules for the time travel, and no, it completely made sense. Look, I go, wait a minute. So, okay, Peter Parker, he's been gone for 5 years, and all of a sudden he just goes back to his high school like it ain't no thing. Really? Okay, man.
Yeah.
Because you see at the end after they've won, he just goes back to high school like it wasn't nothing. I was like, you've been gone. And not to mention, because they said, well, I'm sure they'll explain that. I said, well, hold up. He came out, when he came through that portal, he specifically, when he hugged Tony Stark, specifically told Tony Stark that Doctor Strange had told him that he'd been gone for 5 years. So he's aware that he's been out of time for 5 years. So yeah, let's just go back to high school.
Yeah. Have you seen Far From Home yet?
Yeah,
you did.
They did. They acknowledged certain things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember you did tell me that. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Some dude, the guy that what's the Indian or Arab guy that they got playing Flash Thompson? He tried to buy some alcohol on the plane, and he had his ID. And obviously his ID, 5 years have passed. It would show that he'd be 21 years of age. And then Mary Jane, I forgot, she's not actually Mary Jane. She's just MJ.
She's not Mary Jane?
She's MJ, but she's not Mary Jane. She has the MJ does not stand. What does her MJ stand for? It doesn't stand for Mary Jane. It stands for something. I can't remember. It's Mary. I don't know what her name. Michelle. That's what it is. Her name's Michelle.
Even in Far From Home, they stuck with that?
Yeah, she's Michelle Jones. That's what it is. Michelle Jones, Everett Todd. I see that. Yeah, but I knew it's like, yeah, but they wussed out because it had leaked that she was playing MJ. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, no, she's not Mary Jane. And they kept, and everybody was like, oh, she's playing Mary Jane. And so right there at the last, she was like, oh, my name's Michelle Jones, but you can call me MJ. And I was like, dumbass, everybody knows you're Mary Jane. She's supposed to be Mary Jane Watson. So, okay, yeah, she's black. Just say she's Mary Jane Watson if that's what you had intended to do in the first place.
Yep, I agree with that. it would be better to deal with the backlash than to try to this fakery.
Like, yeah, that's why I didn't like that, because I was like, because it's like they admit that they were, you know, they're trying to do quote unquote colorblind casting, but then they wussied out on one of the biggest things. So I was like, if you're doing Spider-Man and Mary Jane, then just say she's Mary Jane. So I just don't like that. That really ticked me off that they did that. And because Zendaya is a great actress, she's beautiful and all this. So I was like, but I didn't like, I don't like Black Irish West on the Flash show either. And I think that one, what's her name, Candice Patton, she's fine.
Oh
that's woman,
she's beautiful.
She's a cool ass chick.
She grew on me at first. I was like, but she's
I've gotten used to her now, but I just I know why they they do all that. I don't like all that race swapping and stuff. I'm not into that. I don't want the Kingpin to be black or Asian all of a sudden. It's like, oh, the Kingpin's Asian now. All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see. All right, I'll touch on this one time. My issue with that, I don't have a problem with them retconning things. It's just that I don't expect it from that. Like I've argued this the whole time. I'm not arguing it anymore. I'm just adding to the discussion my feelings about it. I really can't appreciate when you read a comic book. It's such a visual experience. You don't come out of that. This is my opinion. You don't come out of that going, oh, I could be anybody. Your brain connects the dots, and you're like, Peter Parker is that guy with the brown hair. If Peter Parker was blonde, it could only work like it did in Into the Spider-Verse, that he was in another dimension. I can't accept that it's my brain doesn't says this. That's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man's this guy. It's like if you had known me for a long time. I know people say, oh, but they're just fictional characters. I understand that, but my brain's connected the dots to that interpretation of that character for however many years I've been reading comics. But maybe that's why they don't want people like me buying comics anymore. That to me is making more and more sense. Huh?
It's not for you, bro.
It really they really are not looking at me anymore. They've moved past me, I guess. But unfortunately, they've waited. It's a little too late, though, in my opinion, because these other people aren't buying. These other customers aren't buying. I mean, are they? I don't think they are. But so it's not a race thing as much as it is. It's like if I would have made the same comment if they had made Shang-Chi, if he was played by I don't know, a Puerto Rican guy. It'd be the same thing. Like, that's not Shang-Chi.
But see, here's the thing, and because I've noticed when we've had these type of conversations with different people, they'll go, well, why come the Black Panther can't be a white guy then? And all that. So you get into these, and I've noticed that being a minority, you can't replace minority characters and make them white, but you can take white characters and make them minority.
So what is it that you think about that then? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think, well, it's clearly a double standard.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But
for good or bad.
I just wish that everything was on the table.
Yeah, I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt, because I was making this comment earlier, like I think I understand. The reality is this customer, we were talking earlier, that's what it was in our private thing. This customer that's typical that we are part of is that older male. They say it's a 40-year-old and up white male, whatever. It's anyone that's been reading comics for more than 30 years. And so that's why they kind of ignore us. because they need to. I think they believe, and it's probably true. They need to start thinking about the future of their business. But I think what's wrong with their plan is that they're trying to box us out while you're trying to get new customers. I think, and that's also another thing that bothers me is that they're ignoring all the great female characters. Maybe it's because they weren't, I don't like to use the word woke, but they weren't feminist enough. Like, to me, maybe because I think she's great, they don't like it. Oh, you can't claim our female characters. But Storm was always like a fantastic character. I was genuinely, I crushed on that character as I was growing up. I thought she was fine. I thought especially when Barry Windsor Smith drew her. Remember that run where she was out in the wilderness and it was her and Forge were out there in the wood.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, he could draw that woman so beautiful. And I was like, man, she's gorgeous. She's a goddess. Like, I got that. I was like, she's a goddess. That's fantastic. And then, but maybe to this new customer that they're trying to reach, that's not feminist enough because she was clearly with Forge or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. All I know is that they're definitely boxing us out and saying, we don't want you anymore. And I'm definitely feeling unwanted. I'll be honest with you, but they don't realize that I used to go to the movies all the time, and now I'm like, I didn't go see Endgame, and I'm not thinking like I heard about some of these other ones. I'm like, I don't care. What's Shang-Chi supposed to be a movie?
Well, I mean, they just had a big panel at the San Diego Comic-Con, so
it's a movie though. It's not a TV show, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a movie with a huge budget. And one of the things that I saw getting thrown around there was that possibly the Mandarin was going to be the villain in that, and they were gonna undo that the Ben Kingsley Mandarin because they screwed that up. I was like, the Mandarin deserved way better than what he got in that movie, the Shane Black Iron Man 3. Surprise! He's a goofball, and I was like, what? Because Ben Kingsley's a brilliant actor. He's Academy Award winner. I thought
it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny, but I like the Mandarin in the comic books.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that he would have the rings and the Mandarin versus Iron Man. I was looking forward to that. Then it was like, and then they just completely goofed off. I mean, it'd been nice to get the man. I know we're not ever going to get Fin Fang Foom or any of that stuff in the movies. I don't know.
I wonder why not. Well, you kind of did, right? You kind of got that with in Iron Man 3. Was that 3? Yeah.
Yeah, but they definitely didn't do Fin Fang Foom.
Well, no, that was their version because remember he had that he was supposed to he had that tattoo on his back.
Yeah, he had the dragon on his back.
Yeah, I mean it was corny, but I'm just saying that's what that was supposed to be. I don't know. It's like, yeah, and so in a way, it's almost like if you can't do it the way it is in the comic, I almost don't want to see it. But then, to be honest, my daughter has no idea. She's interested in it because I'm interested in comics, but they definitely fooled her into thinking that that's what I like. Like, no, baby, I don't want to see that. She's like, we're not gonna go watch this. Nope. I told her, get your birthday money. You can watch it on your own. What? I was like, yeah, I am paying for that. She was mad too. She was mad.
Oh, it's just. Oh.
I wish they could do something with. I want to see Jack Black as a superhero. I don't know, not necessarily a Marvel or DC one. I just want to see him. I'd love to see him play a superhero.
Really?
Yeah, I love Jack Black.
This version of Jack Black or like 25 years ago Jack Black?
Jack Black right now. Old man Jack Black with a beard. I want to see that guy.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Jack Black.
All right, Elliot's drunk. It's official.
Gee whiz. I like Jack. You don't like Jack Black?
I like Jack Black, but he's clearly not in any type of. I'm like, well, hell, I saw that Gulliver's Travels movie, which they screwed that. I was like, how do you take Gulliver's Travels and that's a classic story, and they just kind of screwed it.
Oh yeah,
screwed
I don't know. Captain Black Cheesemo says older folks have the money. We do, but I think what they're saying is that they're concerned that people are gonna, our generation is moving along. I mean, we're older, we're all healthier than we used to be, but are we? I mean, they talk all about the obesity problem in America. I think they're expecting all of us to kill. Dude, so yesterday, I'm watching all this stuff online, and I had to run to get some food for the family. So the kids wanted Little Caesars, so I went to Little Caesars, and I have been getting dizzy lately. I was like, what is going on? You know how I wear those little silicone rings on my fingers?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think they were cutting circulation, like they were making me feel dizzy. I was getting like dizzy spells because they were squeezing my fingers. My fingers are like sausages. They look like little pigs in a blanket. They look little. And I was like, oh man, am I having a heart attack? Am I having and then within like 2 minutes after I took the rings off, I started feeling better. I said, oh, you got to be kidding me. Stupid rings. I didn't realize that they were cutting off circulation. Go figure. Was I wearing it around my neck? Says none of your business. No. All right, what do you think about Captain America?
When Captain America throws his mighty shield. Oh no. Nice.
Okay, I think you like it then. Okay.
Yeah. I love it.
All right.
You making stuff for the auctions or?
I wasn't. I don't think nobody buys Captain America either. Cap is boring and Superman's boring. Nobody buys them. Everybody likes the angry guys. These are my favorite characters, and they're like, Then Chris Evans. When Chris Evans started saying that Captain America says something, I'm like, you better shut up. You better shut your face.
Let's see, Zaid Comics. Antonio, I love the brand preview. Why, thank you, Zaid Comics. That's man. Like I said, I had a couple of haters online, but most people, like I said, my cousin, the sale, like I said, you see the sales went considerably spiked up.
Right.
I got overwhelmingly positive feedback on the preview, and and it wasn't just for Caanan's right. They liked the colors, they liked the lettering. They some of them liked my writing. That was nice. So I just, but I'm just wanting to, like I said, just got this new page, and I just want to get Way of the Gun. Get the script because Caanan, Caanan's supposed to be laying those pages out and stuff. So I want to, there's so much I want to do. And oh no. Let's discuss there. But you want to try that person that posted that nuts? Tell them that I got 20 sales directly linked to. Well, there was people that saw that and they checked the preview out. That person was hating on me and checked the preview. I was like, hey, this actually looks pretty good. And that's why I always laugh. Ethan says, we gotta hit your plow to these SJWs, man. Gotta make them be your workhorse. So, but everybody, I got so much positive feedback from the book, so I can't wait to get them printed and get all the different variants and get them signed and sent out to everybody. That'll be awesome.
And now that the campaign's over for me, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I got to sign a bunch of stuff. Oh no. I remember it took forever to sign the black and reds. That was no joke.
Ugh. Yeah, I got to fly Caanan out. I got to fly him out, feed him. Ugh, so unnerving. Put up with him. We're supposed to, go and do a few things, but just I hate that. but I am looking forward to seeing my friend Caanan White. So the sooner, like I said, just in these last pages and getting everything done, I'm excited about that. And then we can do Way of the Gun, which I hear you are going to do a cover for. So
what? You heard that?
I've heard that. I have heard that.
That's great news. What?
That is great news.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's gonna be fun.
Vaz and Kazi, are the change ready in the basement? Nah. I don't know. Me and Caanan have I am curious as how this will be, if I got to put up with Caanan for a week. And, I asked his wife, we were streaming and she came up and she, and I asked her, I said, hey, because people kept saying they wanted Caanan to sign it too. And I was like, you guys realize that, Caanan lives like 500 some odd miles away from me. So he doesn't just live down the street. So that means someone has to put him up. That just didn't. Let's see. Hold up. Everett Todd says next time have the signature be a digital file submitted to the printer as part of the book. Yeah, you know what? I heard Zach when he was, because he had originally said he was going to sign all the Jawbreakers, and then he was talking about. Then he started talking about this tip-in sheets, which he did the tip-in sheet thing. I get it. It was so many books that he sold that he didn't want to sign the individual books, so he just signed the tip-in sheets. And Doug did the tip-in sheets for Bigfoot Bill. I don't know. I'm signing the covers of the books, so no tip-in sheets.
I'm thinking about doing the tip-in sheet.
Oh man, I always feel like that's a cheat.
Why?
I don't know, because I like to think that person actually held my comic in their hand and signed it with love.
I did. I signed it on the page, and my love was inserted. That's weird. That wasn't supposed to come out that way. I'm just saying.
Okay, hold on.
What's going on? What am I missing? Something happened?
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties. Trying to make sure I don't cut out on you.
Oh no, don't cut out. Don't cut out.
Okay, hold on. Let me fix this right quick and I'll be right back.
Okay, man. Okay. All right. So I'm kind of doing some stuff here with washes. I have a little tub, a little jar that has a water to ink mix, and I use it like a gray marker almost. All right, so everybody's doing good. I'm so glad you guys hung in with me tonight. It's late, I know, but well, for some of you it's early, for some of you it's something else. But I appreciate all of you. I'm glad that we're all here together. It's almost like there was a hurricane and we all showed up to stay safe from the storm that's a coming. I had a dream about that once. That's a weird story. I won't tell you guys, but
yay! Okay,
you're back.
Back in the New York groove. I'm back in the New York.
All right, and then I have these bottles of water that I keep here. This is a bunch of old ink that I just rinsed this out first in here.
So you're doing the ink wash thingy?
Yeah, just a little bit. This is just to wipe out the bulk of the ink off the brush, and then I have a cleaner. It's not perfectly clean, but to clean. And I have it marked to the side so I don't drink it. That happened to me once before.
Well, I had a buddy that was doing that dip thing, and he had He had one Coke bottle and he had the other. He picked the wrong one up and took a swig.
Yeah. Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, it was not pleasant.
Yeah. See, here's the clearer one. It's got a little bit of tint, but I got rid of the bulk of my ink problem in the other bottle.
You know, I know you're probably not gonna like this, but your cap has kind of just the way you did the shading and stuff. It almost has a Jim Lee type vibe on it.
Oh, you cursed at me, bro.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I know you have some Jim bias, but I was looking. I was like, man, that's But I mean that as a compliment. But I know that.
Well, you know, that's understandable. I learned a lot from Jim Lee. You know, in my formative years of learning how to draw this stuff, he was one of the first. I must admit, I was definitely affected by his work. I just, now that I'm a little older, you know, I'm a little more interested in, like, I'm definitely more interested in Silvestri. I definitely think that. But Lee, you know, Lee will always have a little special place in my heart. I mean, he's exciting. I mean, I can't deny that. You know, he's an exciting artist. I mean, he draws same as Liefeld. I'm not. I don't know, man. It's weird. I would never use Liefeld for any reference. Está pasando hasta la mañana. Ahora viene el cafecito con quesito, pepa. That's right, Sketch. I need some coffee with the cheese. But no, man, it's just, you know, it's just what I learned a lot of bad habits from Jim Lee. That's the thing. You know how we were talking about how like there's campaigns for people that have a big following, and then there's campaigns for the rest of us. Well, it's like that with comics. There's comic styles that work for guys like Jim Lee because he's Jim Lee. But if I did Jim Lee, I get gigged for, oh, you didn't draw this. Oh, you didn't draw that. It's like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sure. So it's like, I can't really depend on him anymore for that sort of look because it betrays me. It's fine for him, but it's not. I'm not allowed to do it, so to speak. So you have to kind of have like a plan B. Silvestri, I think, was a more fully formed version of that anyway. And Silvestri never really, you know, letting everybody see it as it is. Silvestri never stayed because he never got, you know, became like this high profile DC guy. So he kept on growing with his art, where Jim learned how to draw it even faster, what he was already doing. And he adds a little sloppy stuff and blah 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 blah, his detail, wow, you know, ta-da, you know, like this stuff has a lot of detail in it. But reality is that's not quite perfect for it. So yeah, the one who had a lot of influence me in the last few years was or that I paid a lot of attention to last few years, I'd say like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, or a couple of years. It was Ivan Reis. He had a big impact because it was like a return. One of the things I love about Ivan is that he brought back the look of it's a nice blend of what people got from the 90s and the 2000s, but blended with what I love about the 80s. Like his characters are very heroic and very athletic. Like Neil Adams drew Batman, very athletic. You know, and so his characters look like gods. So they're a good complement to, you know, if you see Ivan Reis, and then you see, you know, you look at what's his name, Alex Ross. Like Ivan is like the comic version of what Alex Ross does with paint. Everything that Ivan does is very majestic, not unlike, well, old school Neil Adams. So that's really profound to me. So that has affected me. But Olivier Coipel has definitely had a gigantic impact on me. I wish I could just draw like him, period. Like, it would satisfy me to no end to just do cool stuff like he does. But you know, you take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that. That's kind of what creates your style. You know, I've just been exposed so much to those guys. But how can you not be impressed, with that X-Men #1 with the gatefold cover, Not the gatefold. Yeah, it was gatefold after a while, right? They did a gatefold, but they started out as a multiple cop. You have to get all.
Yeah, well, yeah, they did the individual panel issues, and then they did the big gatefold that folded out, and it was the whole thing.
I mean, how could you not resist that? That was uber powerful.
I've actually thought about it. I've seen a couple of those on eBay because that's the one. The one with Magneto is the one that I really wanted, and because I love the way Jim Lee draws Magneto. Nobody draws Magneto like Jim. And
yeah, but yeah. His Wolverine is practically second to none. Other artists now that I think are very. I mean, again, I just named off Olivier Coipel. I mean, he's bombastic to me.
I'm a big fan of Olivier Coipel, and I did not know he was a black man. I had no idea he was a black man.
Yeah, and I did not know I was going to get so many naked men in his feed, but what are you going to do? He's good.
Yeah, I started following on Instagram. I had no idea he was black. I was I mean, most of the artists that I've, they're either Asian, Latin, or because they're definitely grabbing a lot of people that are living in like Brazil and stuff like that, and they're giving them work, and so they're, I'm not used to, I was surprised. Well, I mean, he's French, but he's black, so I did not know.
Yeah.
I was like, interesting.
I like him. I like him a lot. Kim Jong-il is definitely.
Yeah.
He's frightening. He's frightening. I can't watch it. He makes me not want to draw no more. He's so powerful what he does.
Did you see? I think they were in New York. I think they were in New York Comic-Con, and it was Jim Lee and Kim with they did a panel together, and I think they were both trying to like. Jim come in, he was like, "Oh, I'll just do like a quick Batman," and then he came in, he drew, and then Jim was like, "Oh, okay, well, he's actually drawing for real, so I got to draw for real." So he just was. I understand he sits on these panels and stuff all the time, and so he just kind of jerks around. And he saw Kim was putting it down. He was like, "Oh, okay, we got to do something a little bit more detailed." Okay, it's kind of funny.
One of the things I'm going to do is Everett Todd's asking for Instagram accounts in the links. I was going to say I'm hoping to reach out to some of my friends when I do this Tales from the Long Box. I want to invite some artist friends to come on and hopefully we'll do some cool stuff like that. I think that's going to be fun to basically interview some, like, they might not be all comic guys, but they'll be like concept artists, and hopefully they'll still come on. But that's what I'm hoping for. And
I'm about to say, Everett, whose Instagram are you asking for? Because if I can get it, I'll drop it in there. Because I follow so many people.
Yeah, me too. Well, guys and gals, it has been a pleasure to serve you tonight with some cool art. I hope you guys had a good time. For those of you who, let's check real quick. Let's check quick. Let's see if I still have I don't think I have the window open anymore. Let's share screens. Let's see, application window. Oh, bam! Share. Where is that anyway? Where is that? Is that here? No. Put that away. There it is. There it is. All right, guys, here we are. I'm going to refresh this. I'm not expecting it to have gone up, but 48,665 with 806 backers. Antonio, it's not bad, right? It's the same.
I think you should be proud of that.
I am proud of that. Hoping that I can, I'm hoping that I really thought I thought I could push it forward a little bit better, but I don't know to get to 50. I'd like to get to 50 in the next week or so. That would put me in a really nice spot as far as being able to work on this and getting it printed on time and all that jazz without missing some the key dates with printers and such. But as you can see, I still have some of these things here. They're not going to be here for very long. I am going to reconfigure a lot of these perks. How many? Oh, wow. There's only 15 left of the early bird special. So, but like something like that's going to go away. That has a bunch of stuff in there. The metal prints, the 2 covers, and the regular prints. It's a doozy. We've got DOOMKICKER signature, the variant cover, the prints themselves with the book. Well, those are the prints. And by the way, the art for these are being included in the book. I'm not sure about this one here, the black and red one, but definitely this is going to be a panel in the book. And also this page here. Where is it? This page here. I wasn't going to use it in the book at first, but I just need to replace this panel, and it will become an actual production piece of art for the book. There's also here. I'm planning on getting rid of these. The remark and the sketches. I'm getting rid of those too. So I'm planning on doing that sometime tomorrow. So if anybody hasn't backed it and is interested in some original art to go along with their deal. And by the way, if you do get the 2 headshot pack, you can go ahead and ask for whatever you want. I'll draw whatever character you want. It doesn't matter. I won't. It'll still just be a headshot to a bust. So if you don't want Hank, I'll draw Batman instead if that's what you like. That's just for whoever's coming in late on that. So then we've got what brand? Let me refresh it just to see. You got 2,241 backers, bro. 2,242 backers.
Yeah, it's been I've been blessed. It's been, like I said, people really have responded to the to the new one. So
that was because of me, right? I got you up that high, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, right. Antonio Brice is the hardest working man that I know. He is slaying it, and he's took this campaign and put it on his shoulders, and he has killed this campaign. I mean, he has done a fantastic job. I'm so proud of him. Everett Todd says, does the wallpaper include a digital copy? The wallpaper does not include a digital copy, but says I'm answering Everett Todd, but I am working on some new perks that I think you guys might dig. We'll see. And then, well, what else? And yours is in. These are still the items you have available.
Yeah, because I took all the t-shirts and all this stuff I took down because
I
was like, once I started looking into some of the, I was like, I don't want to dig myself too big of a hole. And the sketch covers, all this stuff, we took all that down because we're trying to, trying to finish. So
yeah, and then the spotlight for tonight for me is Feast or Famine. This book looks really cool. I really like this artwork. This particular book has been recently, or in the past, recent past, published over at Alterna, and everybody here should know that I'm a big fan of Peter Simeti and Alterna Comics, and this stuff looks great. And this particular book. So listen, if I'm telling you I like it, I like it. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
I'm telling you, I'm a fan of it. I dig it. So this is definitely getting the Jerkmonger stamp of approval here. Yeah, this is good stuff. And this cover in particular, I love this one right here. So anyway, so that's it. Let me just check real quick one again. DOOMKICKER. Don't forget, guys, do me a favor. If you have backed this, and if you don't mind, I just ask you, and same thing with Brand, please hit the link and share it again. All that equals sales here and there, and that helps me get closer to achieving the goals that I have set ahead of me, to help me get this to a point where I can even hire some people to help to work on a project. Right now, I'm still doing it by myself. So if you guys are willing to help out, that'd be dope, y'all. Dope. In the meantime, baby, Antonio Brice, what's up, man?
Not much. I would say to Everett Todd, Follow me on Instagram at Instagram.com/AkariPress, because I post a bunch of these artists that we were talking about on my Instagram feed, and I always link back to them if they have Instagram, so you would be able to find quite a bit. I know I've posted like over 1,200 images on my Instagram, and you will see. But yeah, stuff like this, digging that. So,
and like, where can they follow you?
Well, all my social media is quite streamlined. As you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube are all at Akari Press. So yeah, Facebook, Akari Press, Twitter, Akari Press, all of it. You know, and then AkariPress.com takes you right to the Indiegogo page for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Caanan White.
Ooh, yeah, see, you get sleepy. You can't do it the same way as usual. I like that. I got you. Yeah. Hey, you guys can follow me here, obviously, on Jerkmonger on YouTube, but also under Elliot Fernandez _art over on Instagram, where I post a lot more of my work. That's where I post the actual still images. I don't post all of them always to Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, you're not going to always get that. But if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a lot more work. And I have over 4,000 or 5,000 images posted on there. I have quite the library. So if you want to see a nice history of the Jerkmonger through the years, you'll see a bunch of cool stuff over there. And again, I highly I implore you, if you haven't backed Doomkicker, please consider it. And if you can't, or if you did, please at least share also the link so that other people can get a chance to feel the glorious power of the Doom Kick and get it in their face. Bam, boom, pop. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great night, great morning, great evening, great afternoon. Somebody eat a good sandwich for me. I appreciate y'all. Peace out.
And I'm so glad I stayed through the years.